Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 86. Right?
Really? 86?
Yeah, man.
I thought it was 85.
No, last week was 85.
Oh, well then
Pretty
I
sure.
screwed up with my doc because it still says 85. So I think I did that thing where my brain just gaps, and instead of copy or making a new doc and then deleting it, I think
You just wrote over it?
deleted it. So
I've done that before.
yeah, that's nice.
But I'm your host. I'm here. You can hear my co-host, and teenage son Jack is here as well.
Hi.
We are back in the basement. We're going to talk about some wrestling. We're going to switch it up a little bit this week, I think, right? Because we did not get around to talking about AEW Revolution. So we're going to sort of put that where we'd normally do Dynamite. Then we'll go to our trivia. Then we will hit AEW Dynamite. I think we're just going to not do NXT UK this week. I'll probably still
Makes
watch
the
it later,
most
but we're going to replace NXT UK with talking about AEW Revolution. We figure more people are probably interested in our thoughts on that, so that's where we're going to go.
And we
with
want it. I would personally rather talk about that as well.
Me too. I mean, it'll probably add a little bit of length to the show, but
I did see that Wild Boar
That's
did
okay.
return, so.
oh, we did? I'm
Yeah,
going to watch
so
it still. It's
that's cool.
recorded up there, so I'll probably check it out at some
Nice.
point. But yeah, so I don't know. We're just about to start our March break here where we live. So I think that's spring break for our American friends. I don't know if spring break's the same week or not, because we
I
just
have
call
no
it March
idea.
break here. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway, so we're excited about that. Just nothing major planned for the break rate. Just kind of
Mm-hmm.
grandparents coming to visit us going to visit people, etc., etc. Kind of day trips, going to see the Globetrotters at some point, right? On Tuesday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing major. But anyways, how was your last week of school? Amazing.
Totally. Yep.
You
it
loved
was
loved every minute. You're upset to
fantastic,
have
yeah.
break. You want to go back to school?
Kind of, yeah.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
Your
No.
brother does, because he's got clearance to come into the gym and play basketball.
Yeah, I
So
might, because forget badminton prep.
and after March break, right? Our mask mandates are gone, including in schools. It looks like, although apparently some school boards are fighting to keep it
Oh,
a
is
bit
it gone
longer.
outside of school, too?
Yes,
Oh.
I believe it's gone everywhere. So
I thought it was
vaccine
a
mandates
school
gone, mask mandates to be gone in about a week. So some normalcy. Oh my God, could you imagine life being a little bit closer
Yeah,
to normal? That would be
that's
nice.
weird, yeah.
So then my hope is, since this is a wrestling podcast, that some independent wrestling starts popping back up again.
Oh, yeah.
It's about time hopefully for the summer, we get something to do, right? That would be great if or AEW comes up here too. That is definitely a possibility. They plan on coming as
they?
soon as getting across the border and everything is easy. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. There's money to be made here, right? There's a few spots that for sure they would sell out almost immediately, right? I would definitely go and probably pay to have decent seats, I think. I don't know, depending what the price was. I'm not looking to spend a ton. But yeah, so hopefully things are opening back up, getting more back to normal. So that is great news for us. Seems to be the numbers are low and hospitals are fine. So away we
Right.
go,
Mm-hmm.
right? Anything else new and exciting?
No.
You got a haircut? Not that people
Yeah.
could see you. Significant. He had very long pandemic hair.
Mm-hmm.
Made the choice to get her not super short, but significant, like inches and inches cut off, right? Because it was pretty shaggy.
Very much, yeah.
Not that it looked
Time for
bad,
change.
but you have good hair. You're lucky.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. What else? Anything you want to talk about?
It's
Probably going to be a beefy episode. So,
I guess I saw Spider-Man a third time on Sunday after
Right.
the podcast. So
and we talked about Batman before.
we did, because that was the day before.
Right.
No, yeah, that's it. then.
Spider-Man for a third time with your aunt and uncle, right?
Yep.
And did they like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Tricked them into.
What do you mean you
taking-
tricked them into it?
To taking me. So
How?
then I went again, but then I paid for, well, not really, but more fun to call it that.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. I don't know,
Ah.
man. I don't have much to say. You want to get into talking about some wrestling?
Sure.
All right, so let's start out like we always do, looking at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, so taking a look at some ratings, we've got Tuesday's Roadblock edition. They tried to pass it off as like a special
Yeah.
episode or whatever, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It drew 613,000 viewers, so that's up 11.25% from the week before. Earned a .13 in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is exactly the same as last week, so no movement there. Best key demo audience since January 25th. Best total viewership since February 1st, so decent numbers for them, right? I don't see them over 600,000 too often, I don't think, so that's...
Because they suck.
And we'll talk about whether Roadblock delivered or not once we get to that in any other wrestling business later.
Gonna
then-
take a wild swing and say no, but
It wasn't the worst episode, but it wasn't good. I wouldn't say no.
Mm.
Wednesday's live post revelation. Nope, Revolution.
It had a big revelation.
The Revolution edition of Dynamite drew 945,000 viewers, so slightly down 2.17%. Earned a .40 in the key demographic, which is up 14.28%. So that's what they prefer. So they'll be happy that that number went up. So it was actually the third lowest audience since the move to TBS, with the key demo numbers being right kind of in the middle, basically. That's pretty much smack dab in the middle of the ratings since that move. So I don't know, decent numbers, I guess. Nothing spectacular, but not quite
Cool,
at that
yeah.
million threshold. What do you have for us? Anything exciting?
So RK Bro won back the tag titles in a
Right.
3-way with Alpha Academy and Rollins and Owens, and so this is kind of odd because like last week we had the 2 different mid-card title changes, and now we're
Yeah.
like a lot of TV
They're
title
shuffling
changes.
the deck before Mania, it seems, eh?
Of course.
A little bit.
And I think it's I feel like Alpha Academy are kind of cool tag champs, and like they're actually a team. I feel like RK Bro's still RK Bro.
Yeah.
You know.
I kind of
like-
feel like RK Bro's gonna split and have a match at Mania, but that's got to happen real fast.
Which made me even more confused. Why did they win the titles?
Right.
And now Owens is embroiled with an Austin thing, which it looks like it's gonna be like a segment, but I could see it being like
It's coming up in my news.
segment masquerade as a match, you know.
Coming up in my news.
And then they had like a clip of Rollins walking down the ramp deflated, so like
yeah.
it's like, oh, is he gonna miss Mania? Which I also saw a thing that he might have like a mystery opponent at Mania.
Weird.
So that's
Because
cool.
right now
Maybe.
Orton and Riddle don't have anything going on for Mania, right?
And apparently WWE wants Cody by the March 14th Raw, which is next week.
Yeah, but
If that were to
if he
happen,
goes, yeah, if he's going,
I could see Cody versus Rollins because they have history.
yeah,
But
suppose.
I don't know. I don't know. I still don't understand how Rollins has fallen so far. Like
yeah,
they had it made.
yeah, but you are smarter than they are, so they're not worried about that.
I'd book that so good.
To them, he's not a major player, right? He's like that next level below. You're dropping things over there.
Headphones.
Yep. So Miro re-signed with AEW,
I saw.
which is cool. Despite you realize he has not wrestled since Full Gear in November,
It's true.
right? So
Which is what?
several months.
4 months at least.
So he kind of
4
disappeared.
months.
And you and I have been talking about how he's kind of been missing, right? So I guess he won't be missing for that much longer. Hopefully he's back soon because he's pretty awesome, actually. So it's weird that he's just disappeared, and I've heard no news as to where he's been, but he's re-signed, so he'll be back. Anything else?
To continue on these weird title changes, an actually surprising one is Dolph Ziggler won the NXT title at Roadblock.
Yeah, I'll be talking about that match in any other wrestling business. He did.
I was
You're
really
speechless?
surprised. Yeah.
It's just they want Breaker to chase, right? Leading into
Yeah,
Mania
but then
weekend.
I would have liked, then why not Ciampa then? Or honestly, if we're just giving a title run for the sake of chasing, why the hell not Escobar?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I would assume the plan is for him to win it back, which I feel like kind of sucks because I remember when 2-time NXT champion used to mean something. Because I remember it used to be only Joe and Nakamura and then Balor, which was fine. And Cross was kind of not really because he got injured.
Right.
But so that would kind of suck. But like if they have to do the whole just for a babyface chase, why not at least pick Escobar? Because I feel like that'd be cool. Like because they wouldn't care if
I
it's
think
just
the
a
answer is
transitional run.
they believe people know who Dolph Ziggler is, and that during that WrestleMania weekend, they're hoping to draw some new eyes, right?
Okay,
And
and then
The average main roster
if
fan
they're
doesn't know
drawing
who
eyes,
Escobar is.
the other angering part about that is only one member of the Dirty Dogs is an NXT alum, and it's not Dolph Ziggler.
Right.
So it makes even less sense. So that's really I would have if it was Bobby Roode doing it, I'd be like that's weird, but that's cool. With it Ziggler, I'm just like what?
Yeah. I've also heard that they're planning on bringing up Braun quicker than they initially anticipated. So
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It's kind of backwards. Like so
maybe
to make room for the NXT guy to go to the main roster, they had a main roster guy come to take the title off of him.
I assume
Not
that
even like a former NXT guy. Again, he's never been in NXT.
I assume Breaker wins it back at Stand and Deliver, but I don't know.
I've also heard they want Harland up.
I heard that too, sooner
which
than later.
I thought was kind of odd because he doesn't do a whole
I
lot.
can't even say if he's a good wrestler because honestly, he's just had
the way
squash
they
matches,
present
right?
him, right?
Yeah.
Like he's always like
Just
ramming
kills
them in
and
the
that's
mat. Like yeah, it's not even like that advanced offense. Like,
Yeah,
you
no,
know what I
not at
mean?
all.
It's like
Although
it's
he did like a, it doesn't sound like much, but it looked pretty nice, like a jumping splash to the back of whoever he wrestled this week.
like an Ultimate Splash,
I don't know.
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, kind of. It looked pretty good, actually. But anyways, we'll see what happens. What else do I
Ultimate
have
Warrior
here?
is pretty advanced.
Right. Sources have told SE Scoops that Ring of Honor employees do not believe Tony Khan's ROH purchase will be interested in hiring them once the sale is complete. So we already knew they don't have any wrestlers. So it looks like the actual other employees have been encouraged to sort of explore new career opportunities and to speak to the HR department of Sinclair Broadcasting, which is soon to be the former owner, right? So it seems like Tony Khan is coming
so the
in.
deal's still in progress?
Yeah, it's not finalized, but the thought is he's pretty much going to clean house, right, and put in. That makes sense. You buy the place, you put in who you want to put in, kind of thing, right? So
yeah, I mean, if like you'd probably just be lucky to get if you're sticking around,
right. So it looks like it'll be a completely new everything, and we'll see. I'm kind of interested to see what it's going to look like.
So obviously we saw William Regal came out after the Mox Danielson match at Revolution. Apparently Tony Schiavone had like no idea, so they kind of
I heard that too.
A surprise on him, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that'd be fun for him probably.
I feel like they should just always do that with concerts, but right, I guess it makes more sense with the history with him.
Yeah,
and Regal.
They've known each other since WCW days, right? A long time ago, back when he was not quite a jobber, but he certainly wasn't somebody they featured.
Lord Steven Regal.
Right.
I only know that because he was in 2K16 for some reason as William Regal and Lord Steven Regal.
Yes, he was.
Which is weird.
Impact Wrestling has announced 2 more matches for their multiverse of matches. That's during WrestleCon.
I saw that. Is that like
during WrestleMania weekend?
Is that like? So is it just like matches at the convention, or is it like an actual show?
I feel like it is, but I don't know. It's a multiverse of matches, so I don't know if that's multiple companies. Well, obviously New Japan's involved.
There is some, because it's Ishii versus
Eddie Edwards and Jay White versus Chris Sabin, and
I also saw Good Brothers, I think,
and Briscoes. That's right.
And then I saw something else too. Sorry, what was the one you just said?
So it's Briscoes.
White Sabin?
Yeah, White Sabin.
Okay. And I know I saw something else too, but I can't remember what.
Those are the only 3 I had listed here. But yeah, so that's, I don't know.
I swear there was one more.
I'm interested in, I wish Ishii weren't facing Edwards, but it'd probably be a good match. I mean, Edwards can wrestle. I just don't really find him interesting, and Ishii's awesome. So White Sabin could also be pretty good. Good Brothers, you guys know I have no time for at this point, but the Briscoes are good.
Return of Ultimate X, it says here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but it says that here. It says there's like a logo. It says Eddie Edwards is representing Pro Wrestling Noah.
Yeah, I was confused by that too. I was like, is there another Eddie Edwards? Because it literally said in the where I got my notes was Pro Wrestling Noah's Eddie Edwards. So I'm like, is there a second one?
No, it's him, and there's a Pro Wrestling Noah logo.
It's a bit of a stretch to say that I don't know.
Was he there? Wait, is Pro Wrestling Noah Japan?
Yeah. Oh, I know Noah is in Japan, yes.
Yeah.
Because I've watched some recently.
I'm confused. Oh, I think there's also a Champ challenge here, if I'm not mistaken.
I would imagine.
Yeah, there is.
Nice.
So there's also that.
What else do you have for us? I have a couple more. 2 more.
Let's see. Killian Dane is on his way to New Japan Pro Wrestling. He'll be taking on John Skyler. I forget what the show is called, but he's Big Damo or Damo.
Yep,
Damo. Yeah, so he'll be under that guise in New Japan soon.
Cool. As I said, I have an update on Steve Austin's involvement at WrestleMania. So apparently WWE officials wanted Austin to do a match, but the Observer newsletter reports the scheduled main match was changed. Austin agreed to do a segment with a quote-unquote fight sequence, but not a match.
So
there will be like physicality, but
pseudo-match,
yeah, he's not going to do a match. He probably just means he hits a stunner, basically. I'm assuming it's not a ton more than that.
I would love for them to find a way for them to stunner each other at the exact same time.
Like the double crane kick from...
Yes, exactly like that. I don't know how you do that, but you do
Karate
that.
Kid.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Which, I mean, I guess if they really want to do this, I do like that, because at least then it's like Austin's still retired.
Yeah. I have never
he's one of the few to actually
stay retired.
Even Michaels, who was one of the other,
retired forever.
He was one of the other examples.
That's
right?
Saudi money, brah. Gets to you. You know, you got to take that blood money.
I do respect Austin for that, because pretty much everyone.
Because wrestling is like the worst for people not retiring. It's like famous for it.
It's like almost a joke, unless it's like. I would maybe believe if like Undertaker retires at the Hall of Fame or something.
It's just like they.
I feel like Vader's going in this year.
Yeah, they missed the spotlight, I feel like, and they're just not ready to go. I don't know.
Yeah, Yeah.
Slash
Exactly.
WWE refuses to build any new stars, so they're always looking for the old ones to come back
Money.
and throwing money at them, right?
I like them to literally throw money at them. I think that'd be amusing.
Anything else for you? I got one more.
Let's see. So they revealed a new AEW Women's title at Revolution, like a new design this time. Last time they kind of just upsized the old one,
Right.
but this one's like new. It takes inspiration off an old title, which I think predated the one that inspired the AEW World title. I don't remember what title it is, but it is inspired by an old title, so that's cool. It looks very nice.
I don't think I've seen it or noticed it. Anyways, I'll say that
you can find images on, I think, AEW's Instagram. I'll try to show you sometime, but I think it looks very nice. It's definitely an improvement. It doesn't look like a women's belt set. Like, it looks like it could be like if
just a belt.
If you modified it and like made it a heavyweight title, you could totally do that. Like, it's a pretty nice design, I think.
It's not tiny.
Cool. No, it's not. Oh my god. No, it is not.
Not a bracelet this time.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty big actually. Like, at least like the faceplate, but it's very nice.
The last thing I have is that good old Roderick Strong is going to WWE NXT UK.
I saw.
He's going to debut next week. It looks like he's going to be taking on Wolfgang.
That'd be cool for him.
It almost seems like they did a little trade, right? Because A-Kid is coming to NXT US or 2.0.
Whether it's like temporary or, but like,
right.
yeah.
Just like on excursion, as they say, when they wrestle in Japan, right? So, yeah, I mean, Roddy's awesome. So getting him in some fresh matchups can't be a bad idea,
I would
probably.
like him versus
I mean, he's not awesome. He's not awesome at talking. I would like to see him against A-Kid, but they're now crossing.
I'd like to see him against Dempsey.
Yeah, or Ilya Dragunov or Devlin.
Oh yes, against Dragunov.
Right,
that would be good. Yeah, that would be a cool defense for Dragunov. While Roddy's there, might as well get his money worth. And I was gonna say Devlin too.
Right.
Pretty much anyone decent from NXT, I would like them against Devlin.
Yeah, be something different.
Roddy could actually go for the Heritage Cup quick if you want. That would be cool too.
Yeah,
actually.
Against Dar, that would be good.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think Roddy would definitely be that type of guy.
Yep, he would. Any other news from you?
Let me see. I have two more.
Go for it.
So Scorpio Sky won the TNT title from Sammy Guevara on Dynamite. A lot of title changes lately.
Right.
So we have the TNT title on Dynamite. Yeah, me too, actually. Like, I think this one and Ziggler were most surprising for me. Actually, no, and Ricochet, because it's Ricochet, and they don't care about Ricochet.
It was a reminder that they know he exists.
Right, there was this, Ziggler, RK Bro, Ricochet, and Balor. So, like, that's 5 title changes in the past couple of weeks. That's pretty crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, and 4 of them are from WWE.
Yep.
But so, yeah, he beat Sammy Guevara for the TNT title and the TNT title, because there's 2.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he was planned months in advance too. Like, I think since around the Cody business. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think it's like along the lines of apparently since the beginning of AEW, he planned out the first 4 world champions, which would be all of the ones we've had so far.
That makes
Jericho,
sense.
Mox.
I believe it. It feels like they do long-term booking.
Hangman.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like, they're doing some long-term planning, and it does exist.
In WWE, the day of the show, they're switching stuff still, getting the scripts torn up.
Yeah, like I wonder if they did that for the like they just considered all 3 teams for the tag title match, and they're like, RK Bro.
Yeah, it's your turn. Go change it. Could be for sure. Anything else?
Okay, I have one more, which was Jeff Hardy is All Elite. Yay!
The worst kept secret.
And
right?
Hardy Boys reunite. Yeah. I'll talk about it more later.
Me too. I'll talk about it when we get there.
I can't say I'm excited about this.
Me either.
I can't say I'm happy about it. I can't say that there's any dream matches I want, because there's not. And he didn't have face paint. So if he doesn't have face paint,
he did not.
There's nothing redeeming about this.
Right.
So if I can't get an AEW figure of face paint and Jeff Hardy, what's the point?
Right. What's this all for?
They did have the Hardy Boys theme.
He did. Apparently, WWE doesn't own it, is what I saw.
Yeah.
Well, they must not, right? Because I don't imagine they were going to give them permission to use it.
Exactly.
Right.
So that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about it when we get there, I guess.
Yep.
I won't say too much here. But yes, he is All Elite.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, time to get into talking about the pay-per-view, I guess.
Indeed.
So let's take a little detour from our normal programming and talk about AEW Revolution. All right, so I think we will talk about the pre-show because it was worth watching, and one of the matches I thought was pretty excellent, and so did you.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Like, it's funny, right? Because WWE, what was the last pre-show? They didn't even have a match, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
this
think
one
you're
had
right.
3, and I
Or at
didn't.
least last one we watched, because we didn't watch Saudi Chamber.
True, we
Or
did not
what was
watch
it?
Blood
Blood
Money.
Money.
Yeah, we didn't watch Blood
That
Money.
I might use. That's actually like a good name for a show.
I think multiple places call it Blood Money. I don't think I came up with it. I'm sure I've heard it somewhere.
No,
I'd
like
love to give credit where credit is
that
due,
is
but
actually I should like whether it's in like universe mode or figures, like that's actually like a good name for I
Blood
don't know,
Money.
just like whatever, like I think it, like, what does it mean? I'm pretty sure I know, but like
It's just the fact that they're
if they're making money off of like
just
because people died there or
all
whatever.
kinds of horrible stuff goes on there,
Right,
and
yeah, but I think it just like it sounds
they
really
treat
cool,
women and others terribly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
basically.
sounds really cool, but yeah, I think it was what Royal Rumble, right? I don't remember there
There
being
was
a
not a
pre-show
match.
Yeah, and we got 3 here.
Right.
One of them
and
was
not much
sick.
else, right? So I
Yeah.
was pretty
No,
happy.
I like that they choose to, like, you were saying, like, how are they going to pack 3 matches an hour? But I'm like, well, they don't have any useless panels, right? I
Right.
feel like it'd be different if we're going
And I
WWE.
figured the Hook match wasn't going to be super long,
yeah,
which it wasn't.
for sure.
So it opened with Layla Hirsch taking on Chris Statlander, and this was a lot of Hirsch focusing her attack on Statlander's arm, which I actually liked. I thought some of her...
Yeah, I like when there's an objective.
Me too. So this wasn't the cleanest match, right? There was one, Hirsch went for some sort of springboard, and Statlander was supposed to catch her, and it was pretty awkward.
I don't remember what it was, but I do remember that happening.
It wasn't awful. They sort of stopped it from being super. They kind of saved it, but not really. But anyways, the action continued, and then there was caught me very much by surprise. Remember, Hirsch hit a Hurricane Rana from the apron to the floor, which I was a bit surprised to see.
Oh yes.
Right. So basically, I'm not going to go into too much of some of these matches, but Hirsch ended up picking up the win here, but she cheated, right? She grabbed a turnbuckle from under the ring and then sort of hit Statlander in the face with it as the ref.
Yeah, it was like the turnbuckle hook thingy.
Yeah, as the ref was conveniently not looking, obviously. So then she hit her moonsault, which I thought looked pretty good, right? And she picked up the win here.
Do you remember what she would finish with before that? Like
I want to say a submission, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
They said it was like a cross arm breaker or an arm bar.
Right.
That's what it was. The something Katami, Fuji Katami or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever Excalibur. So he's always got like a Japanese name for submissions. I swear to
does.
God, like he's always on it.
I didn't think this match was amazing, but I enjoyed it. I liked Hirsch's limb targeting. I liked a couple of the moves, like the Rana off the apron, and her finishing moonsault looked good. Like I thought it was a solid match.
Yeah, I think it was generally good, but like I don't think it would feel out of place as like the women's match on Dynamite or like on Rampage. I think the sloppiness hurt a bit, but I think generally it was like solid. Like
me too.
Nothing outstanding, nothing bad. Just like
no.
I think like it was like a good, like you're not gonna put it anywhere else on here other than the pre-show.
Right.
For sure.
And I was happy to see Hirsch getting a win against like a quality opponent.
Yes,
right?
I called that
because I like
actually
her. So.
I will find that. So
yeah, I don't think I did very well on this one, but anyways.
So I can keep track of that.
So then I'm not going to go into detail, but Kenny Omega's theme hits, right? But instead of Omega,
I actually got it. They actually got me.
We got Don Callis, and the crowd is definitely not happy to see him there.
I forgot about Don Callis, man.
Basically, he brags about how great Omega's title run was, despite him having to battle injuries, and he basically blames the crowd because they just kept wanting more 5-star matches out of Kenny, right?
That is true. Kenny killed it and then killed himself too.
And then I have my notes actually say he said more, but I went to change and get a coffee, so I wasn't paying much attention to it.
That you did.
So then we get to and that opening match, because I sort of wrote it down, was just under 10 minutes. So I got a decent chunk.
I got Hirsch, you got Statlander, so I win.
Nice. QT Marshall taking on Hook here in the next match on the pre-show. So it's pretty much what you would think, right? Judo throws from Hook, suplexes from Hook. QT Marshall sort of being the heel and cheating a little bit.
I think QT dominated the rest of the match and everything ever.
Obviously. Like he was taking shots while not clean breaks. He was running a hook into the turnbuckle's face first, clawing at his face, stuff like that. But eventually we got what we figured we would get. He counters the cutter, locks in the red rum to get the submission victory in about, I think it was like 5 minutes is what I had pretty much written down there. Let me see. Hook wins with the red rum in 5 minutes. Yes, that's what it was. I mean, this was all it needed to be, right? I don't think there was any universe anyone thought QT was winning. It didn't need to be very long. Hook is really quick. He has a lot of ability, right? He knows a lot of different throws and suplexes. QT got a tiny bit in, and then Hook gets the win decisively. So I thought this was what it needed to be. Hook continues to impress me. just considering how young and inexperienced he is, and I watch all of these people who are terrible on NXT 2.0, so like that's sort of my point of comparison, right? So Hook really stands out compared to most of them. So the match served its purpose. Was it awesome? No, but it was watchable, right? I thought
it was what you would expect it is, and I mean, I don't know. I think Hook's like he is definitely good.
Yep.
I just don't.
You don't see the hype yet.
Yeah, no, I do think he's good. I think he's really cool in the ring. I just don't think he warrants so much popularity.
Yeah.
Like I do think he's cool in the ring. I don't want it to sound like I don't
right.
think he's good, but like
and I'm not saying I think he should be the champion or anything, but they should just keep bringing him along slowly the way they are, right? He's just kind of showing up, killing people, and leaving, kind of thing. So I thought that was good. Then we get to the final match, which is the House of Black. So Brody King, Malachi Black, and Buddy Matthews taking on the team of Pac, Penta, and filling in for the injured Phoenix, we've got Redbeard, Eric Redbeard, is that what they call him now, right?
FK Eric Rowan.
Right, formerly of WWE fame.
You mean formerly of the Bludgeon Brothers, right?
Correct. That's the fame I was referring to. So this match was pretty crazy.
It was actually
really fun.
I would totally put this on the main card. Like I liked it better than the other trios match.
So did I.
Yeah, like it was really.
This was one of my favorite matches on this show.
Even like Redbeard looked really good. Where like he's like a good big man, but like I wouldn't say it's like amazing compared to AEW. But he fit in pretty well here.
Yep. Some highlights, you had Penta rolling through Malachi, hitting Buddy Matthews with the Destroyer.
Oh yes, that was sick.
Brody King hit a Death Valley driver on Eric Redbeard at one point. Penta hit Malachi Black with Fear Factor on the apron, right? And then basically that was a weird spot because with all the chaos going on, remember he rolled him into pin, but the ref was like, no, he's not the legal man. So it was this weird little like in this match full of chaos and stuff all over and people everywhere, the ref was like, nope, this isn't the legal man, which great, I guess, but it seemed kind of strange because a lot of these multi-man tag matches are kind of, you have to just, the ref is not in control at all, right? So this was like a brief moment of control for the ref. But anyways, Matthews hits a curb stomp at one point for a near fall, right?
No, wait, wasn't it it was the Wicked Stepsister?
Yes, I believe it was.
Stomp.
And then basically there's Redbeard's trying to go 2-on-1 against Matthews and Malachi Black. He's about to chokeslam Black, but he gets hit with the mist right at that point in the show.
I think he gets missed in the knee, and then he gets hit with the driver or whatever.
And then
barraged.
Brody King hit that like violent looking pile driver to like sit out
Rikishi driver.
Yeah, it looked great. And he didn't pin though, right? It was,
I think it was Black.
So he ended up hitting him with it, and then Matthews pinned him because I made note of it.
Oh.
So yeah, Brody King hits this nasty looking pile driver to Redbeard. Matthews pins him for the win in just over 17 minutes. So
I thought Murphy looked really cool because
he looked good, man. The Pac Murphy sequences I thought looked great. Yeah, for sure.
I think Murphy stood up pretty nice, but I think like just based off his ring gear, I thought it was interesting because he wore pretty like all black, like his kick pads and knee pads were all black, which I remember like he's usually like one of the guys, like I feel like the only time I saw him wear black, it was also with a lot of white, like it would be white on the front, so he kind of wore like an all black, which I thought was new for him with like the shorts and whatnot. So that was cool.
He looked cool.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I mean, I thought this match was pretty incredible. I just thought I had a great time watching it, right?
Yeah, I think everyone like I said, even Eric Redbeard, like everyone like looked good, got time to shine. Like I think it was, and it was just all over the place, but it was it was enjoyable.
But everybody's super talented, right? Like even Redbeard did his job well. And I said this at the time, and it doesn't make me happy to say this, but this buy-in match to me was literally better than anything I saw on Survivor Series, right? Like one of the big four.
Like pretty much anything on Rumble, except I like the opener. One
of the big four pay-per-views for the other company, and I like this pre-show match better. And that sucks to say that, right? I'd say it's
even better than most of the Rumble for sure. Like I would like
other than the Rollins Reigns.
Yeah, other than that. I would say like I think there were a couple of filler matches on the pay-per-view. I think this would, like, if you just pluck this and put it on the main card, it would definitely deserve it. Like this was really good,
super
cool.
Fun.
Like I wish this had had a bit more of a build, because then that would have made this even better. But like, I think just as like this is a really good pre-show match, like a main card worthy pre-show match is kind of hard to come by. So that was really cool. They definitely killed it with this one.
I thought so. I thought Penta looked extra quick. Pac is explosive as he always is. I really liked seeing Pac and Matthews interact.
Some of that match for sure.
Some of Malachi Black's kicks looked really stiff. Brody King, I thought here looked the best he has since arriving in AEW.
Sure.
And like you said, even Redbeard, right? He was used, I think, pretty much perfectly in this, and he did a really
Mm-hmm.
good job.
They definitely like WWE. They bring even the WWE guys. They always bring out the best. Like I feel
Yep.
like they just are so much better
It's
here.
just a
Like
different
even
style,
Rowan.
right?
Like I feel like the WWE style makes people look worse sometimes. Like someone like Rowan, like slowing it down to that WWE style
I
is
think
like
it's just to
every
keep
time.
them safer, right? Because it's like they're an investment over there,
Right.
so they're trying to
I
keep them
think
safe.
I think Rowan or Redbeard, whatever you want to call him, I think he was really great here,
Yep.
especially like from what I've like I've I'm accustomed to him just like he's just kind of there. He's not
Yeah.
that
No, he
great.
looked
He's
good.
just like, but no, yeah, he was really good
And
here too. And they
again,
everyone did great and did their part.
I'm sure this match annoyed some people because you do have to be able to sort of look past the ref not having control. Other than that one, that's not the legal
Right.
man
It does
spot.
get pretty frenzied in this,
But
but
I don't care because
it
not
was
every
really
match
good.
is like that, and some can be, right? It's really
Yeah.
fun. If it's going to be this fun, then go ahead and do
This was
that.
one of two tag matches I very much enjoyed.
Right.
Haha.
Yep. So then we move on to the main show and the opener. I was surprised by the choice, but in hindsight, it kind of makes sense, right?
Right.
We talked about it a little bit. And that is Chris Jericho taking on Eddie Kingston. So first move, right, was Kingston landing a half and half. And I honestly,
Which
I thought,
Jericho like hit his head pretty
I,
good off
I
of.
said to you, I think this match might be over. Like I thought Jericho was honestly
Yeah,
injured.
like you can like see him like actually kind of like knock off his head at least,
And they
right?
did check on him, and I think that was a legit check-in. But
Yeah,
anyways,
it definitely did look pretty legit.
he was able to continue, which is good because this match went on for quite a while. So um, so it seems like Jericho was kind of going after Eddie Kingston's eye a few times here, right? We get chop battles, suplexes, obviously. Jericho landing a suplex that was really high on Kingston as well, right? There was a few people landing on their heads in this.
Mhm.
Walls of Jericho's locked in at one point. The crowd seemed to respond well to that. Kingston got to the rope for the break, obviously. And then Jericho's arguing with the referee. That allows Kingston to hit that spinning back fist. I forget what he calls it. The Hurricane, maybe, or something like that.
Hurricane or something. I think
Yeah.
it's Hurricane
Yeah,
or
something
something
like
like
that.
that.
Jericho hits a code breaker, and then he
he
goes,
he's been. I noticed in a couple times in this match, he kind of looked like it was mainly the one knee, which
yeah,
it's like it's mainly it's supposed to be like a lung blower, right? So
yes. He goes for the Judas effect, but gets two of the back fists from Eddie Kingston, and then
Hurricane,
Kingston locks in a stretch plum, right, as it was
which
called,
yeah, which I have not seen before.
to force the tap out, and he finally. So the story of this, right, was that Kingston can't ever win the big
Which
one.
I thought like the submission was kinda lame, but like I thought it
It didn't
also
look
looked kind of
super painful to me, but
it. That was my thing. Like it didn't look super painful, but at the same time, it like kind of looked practical. Cause he's like, at least he kept like
and
wrenching
I
on it to
and
apply
I think
pressure.
the
You know what I
point is
mean?
it's stronger to win the big one by making the guy tap out,
Right,
right?
and
I
yeah, and like
guess.
at least he like kept wrenching on it. You know, kept like applying pressure and applying force. Like a
Right.
whereas like just holding him in it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So at least there was that.
So I probably wouldn't have chosen this match to start
And
the
he
show,
did take
but
neck damage right
yeah,
from early on.
yes, but in hindsight, I think it was smart because
Right, that's what you were saying to me.
following that trios match that was crazy, right?
Right, if you're someone like us who's watching the pre-show, right, or if you're,
There
or
in
more so
person,
if you're in attendance, right, you're like, because after this we have the three-way tag,
so
right,
it
so
ramps back up
that's
again.
two frenzied
Exactly.
six-man tag matches, right? So this does kind of work. I feel like they've done this sometimes. Like I think it was
Smart,
like
I think.
more faster paced, but like similar to this was the opener for Full Gear was MJF and
Right,
Darby Allin,
which was
right?
amazing.
Which I think, yeah, well, that was sick. That was definitely I love that
Preferred
more,
it to
but
the
like
MJF
and
match on this show.
had a like a faster pace, but like you get what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
similar matches. So
Yep.
like they kind of have done that before, but I think like I like this. I think you definitely liked it a lot more, but
I
like
really like this.
I
Yeah.
I just like liked a few things on the show way more, but I think
Mhm.
this was definitely good. Like it was what I would expect from these two. I think it was good. I like Kingston getting the win. Like I think he
Yeah, me
definitely
too.
should have, which I believe I picked. So
You did, and I did
woo.
not.
Um, he's a little more flabbier than I thought.
Yeah, it gives.
Mm.
Yeah, this kind of gave just the fans the chance to catch the breath. Not to say it wasn't a good match, because
No,
this
but
was
just
one of
like
my
they have a different pace,
this is
right?
one of my favorite ones on the card. I found this show not to spoil what I'm gonna say, but beginning and end, and then there was some stuff in the middle that I was just like, it's good, but it's not amazing, right?
It's not like Full Gear.
Right. So yeah, just that a nasty half and half to start by Eddie. The
Yeah, so
suplex
to
off
me,
the
that kind of helped the submission at the end, which was, I think, targeting like the neck or whatever, right? Or
yes,
that area. So I think that kind of
the
helps
suplex
that.
off the apron to Kingston
Right,
was pretty
yes, that
nuts
was cool.
too. So physical match, it felt to me like a New Japan style match is kind of the way it felt, which isn't
Yeah.
a bad thing, right? Like really high suplexes, a lot of
Yeah.
vicious chops. By the end of this, I thought,
Stiff strikes and high suplexes.
yeah, I thought
Hmm.
this was really good and over delivered somewhat because I wasn't expecting it to be this good. I was kind of hoping it would because Jericho, like we said, he's looking like he's in shape again, right? So I think that
Yeah,
helps him.
definitely. Like, or at least like for his age, like for
Oh
sure. Like
yeah,
he's looking as good as he did. Like I think like earlier in AEW, he looked
right,
like this, right?
exactly.
So he's definitely back to form.
And Eddie Kingston always brings a little extra drama to everything, I think. So
Yeah,
he
for
and
sure.
Jericho told a good story in what I thought was a really hard hitting match.
Yeah,
Again, not what I would have chosen for the opener, but I think it was
but
an
in
excellent
hindsight, it
start
works.
to the
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
For sure.
So then we're going back into some crazy tag team
Oh
action
yes,
here.
I've enjoyed this very much.
So this is the triple threat for the AEW Tag Team Championship. So it's Young Bucks versus Red Dragon versus Jurassic Express, who are defending here. So I know neither of us got this one right because I was
No.
surprised by the
Yeah, me
outcome to
too.
this one a little bit.
I'm surprised, but I'm good with it.
So what we expected, we got at the beginning at least, which is Red Dragon and Young Bucks kind of working together, or at
Yeah,
least agreeing to
they
focus
did
on the
it the
champions.
route, which I always don't prefer, because I remember I was first accustomed to the multi-man, like the three-way or four-way tags like they did here, where you have two people in
Yeah,
and one team is completely out, right? But
right.
then I remember, I want to say it was Clash of Champions 2017, they had a four-way tag for the SmackDown tag titles, and they did it where there was one representative from each
Right.
team, which I think now I definitely like much better because it makes more sense, because then you can't have like, because was it New Age Outlaws who did that or something where like you just they tagged in the other partner and pinned him?
Probably.
Like
I don't
pinned,
remember.
like they pinned their partner, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That did happen once.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
that makes sense.
you can't do that. And then also to me is you can, like, you're only tagging your partner, but then also like no matter what, it still feels like a triple threat or a four-way because you
Yes.
have four people in at
Yes.
once, right? So it's because here it kind of is like it sometimes can just boil down to a one-on-one still, right? So to me it would feel
Until
like
things break down and go
right,
crazy.
but
like
I think
happens.
still a great match.
Yep. So there's some cracks in this alliance as both
Yeah,
teams
for
are
sure.
trying
I
to.
do like how it kind of like
Yeah,
it kind of fizzles out. Like I feel like they played this really well, right?
because they were each trying to get a pinfall on Jungle Boy,
right,
and then the
yeah,
other sort of
they
like, "What are you
definitely
doing?"
played out the alliance
thing.
well, for sure.
So Jungle Boy played the face in peril for quite a while here,
Which
and then
makes sense.
we got the Luchasaurus hot tag. So he kind of took out everybody at that point. And then we get some more brawling, working together, that kind of thing. And then it settled into each team working for themselves at this point, right? It was kind of like the alliance is kind of
Which
gone.
is definitely where it gets more interesting.
Jungle Boy hit a shooting star press on O'Reilly. And that was
He
as
did?
O'Reilly was held on by Luchasaurus, right? And
Wait, Jungle Boy hit a shooting star press?
Yeah, I think so.
Really? That doesn't sound like it. I don't remember that.
Maybe I wrote it down wrong. I don't know.
Maybe
Could
Nick
be.
Jackson? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it was Nick Jackson.
Could have been. We had Jungle Boy got taken out by a belt shot by O'Reilly for a near fall, right? Jungle Boy kind of was the victim of taking a lot of big offense in this.
Well, I mean, he did get a pretty cool spot.
A BTE trigger he got.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then we did get the Thoracic Express, right? Was the finishing. I don't even remember who it was on. Do you?
I want to say it was Matt Jackson.
I just
or Nick
made a
Jackson.
note that
It's
it
one
was
of
the
the
finisher.
Oh yeah, they had goatees this time, which is just another classic gross look.
And I thought this was the first time in a while that Luchasaurus was back to looking like himself.
Yes, I noticed that on
even
Dynamite
in the Dynamite match this week, I didn't see that.
I noticed that a little bit, at least.
But I saw it in this one. It
yeah,
was back to him.
You missed the one spot though. I remember. So I think Jungle Boy had like one of Red Dragon on the top, right? And then I think one of the Bucks was like kneeling in the corner, and so he hits a Frankensteiner to the Red Dragon guy, and then remember he flips right into a German suplex on one of the Bucks.
Cool.
That was really cool. I remember
cool.
that. Yeah, so it was like picture one guy on the turnbuckle with him, he does the Frankenstein and then right into a German suplex on the other guy. Yeah, that was really cool. I remember that.
I was underwhelmed by the first couple minutes of this for some reason, and then like they more than made up for it. This went crazy. This was
exactly what I was hoping for.
This is kind of AEW kind of has the market cornered on this, like either multi-man tag matches or multi-team matches.
If it's like this, I would love another like three-way or four-way tag. Hell, throw in another team if you want to. Like this was really great.
This company has by far the best tag team division in at least North America, right? And I just thought this was an excellent multi-team match, like really fun. Again, smart to have the buffer of the Jericho Kingston match in between,
which is good in its own right, but just like the pace, right? It has a different pace in these.
Exactly. Not that it's a bad match. It's just it lets you catch your breath and enjoy a different style, and then it's back to this chaos. So I thought this was an excellent match.
There were definitely a couple other matches later on that I really liked, but looking back, this is just the one I feel like I enjoyed the most. Like there's just like a lot going on.
It was super fun.
A lot of fun action. Like I think it was really great. Personally, I think Red Dragon still should have won, but honestly, I'm okay with Jurassic Express winning because
it wasn't what I expected.
They kind of pulled a surprise on us, and then also I'm okay with seeing them get a solid run. I feel like mostly it's been on Rampage. I'm hoping like this maybe means like they can start to get more in their run. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with the result.
And I think it might be also that they have a story going, Red Dragon and Young Bucks, that doesn't require the titles.
Yeah, that was one of my thoughts, right? But then I was like, it could also have benefited the storyline. But I think that was just a great match, really fun to watch. I like trios matches, like the pre-show match for sure, but I feel like this is also cool because it adds another dynamic to that where it's 3 teams instead of 2. It was super fun. It was awesome. Yeah.
Then this is where things started to slow down a little bit for me. In the middle of this show, we get the Face of the Revolution ladder match with Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Wardlow, and Christian.
Which wasn't bad for me, but I thought it was a little underwhelming. Just because I love ladder matches, but...
I thought it was good, right? But I didn't think there's anything special. It wasn't
bad by any means, but it's just like kind of okay.
Big spots. What do we had? Cage hit Hobbs with a reverse DDT off of the ladder, right? Basically, then everyone got chances to do something sort of.
Well, there was that one spot where I remember like I want to say it was Wardlow and maybe Hobbs. They were like fighting over a ladder.
Yeah.
And then Cassidy was like hanging onto it because remember he did like the helicopter bit and then he like skinned the cat on top of the ladder bridge. I thought that was really cool.
On a ladder that's held in the air by Wardlow, right?
And I think Hobbs because they were like they were holding because like Cassidy. So I remember what it was.
I think
it was
Cassidy, Keith Lee and Wardlow, but yeah.
Okay, Keith Lee and Wardlow, right? So Cassidy has like the ladder around his head and he's like spinning around doing the helicopter bit, right?
Yep.
And then Wardlow and Keith Lee come and grab the ladder and they're like lifting it up and Cassie's hanging onto it. So then he like pulls himself up, flips over. So now he's like standing on this kind of like ladder bridge trying to grab it.
Yeah, it was cool.
I thought that was really cool because like a lot of times you do this spot where like some people are fighting like Kofi would run up the ladder and try to do something right, or like Cassie did that.
It was just a different take
right?
On that.
Yes, exactly. It was different. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And then we get a confrontation finally between Lee, Wardlow, and Hobbs. They're sort of battling up the entrance ramp up to the stage, right? Wardlow and Hobbs at one point rip a ladder in half, basically, right? As they're kind of tug of war with this ladder sort of thing. Wardlow manages to knock the other two off of the stage through a table that was down there. And then after that, Starks almost won the match. But then Danhausen ran out to curse them, I guess, knocking him off of the ladder as well. Wardlow hit Starks with a power bomb off of one ladder onto another that looked pretty painful before just grabbing that ring to win, grabbing the Sonic ring as we call it, to win this ladder match.
You're saying something about the sound effect.
It should have made that sound effect. That would have been funny. Amazing.
Oh my god, if it was WWE, you know they would, because remember like how they did the creaking for Aleister Black?
Yes. They added that to his entrance. So I think like we said, like this was a good ladder match. It had a few like cool, memorable
I think
spots.
It was solid.
But like it didn't blow me away or anything, right? And that's what these matches should do. If you have like 6 people in a ladder match, it should be craziness, right? Whereas the match before this, I thought was much crazier.
I think there was too many guys that just don't...
That are powerhouses, right?
That don't fit in a ladder match. I think Keith Lee you could justify because he's Keith Lee. He can do pretty much anything.
Yes.
Wardlow, he was solid. I think Hobbs, I wouldn't exactly put him in. Cassidy, I don't think he offers much. I think Christian is fine because he's experienced, and like Starks is...
How did you like Danhausen's involvement?
He didn't do much, so I think it was fine. He
mostly right now is just come out to get a crowd pop, right? Like he's not doing much. I don't understand
why. Like I don't know. I just think like for a ladder match, you should have had more guys that fit in this, and like just like you said, it should be like frenzied action. Some high
and it wasn't.
Spots.
It was setting up for a big
you
spot.
got more crazy action in a one-on-one ladder match. Remember Cody and Guevara?
Right. Yeah,
that
he did. That was
more
nuts.
insane, you know?
Yep, so this was good, but nothing crazy, I didn't think. Then Tony Schiavone quickly announces the signing of Swerve Strickland, which is cool, right? I can't remember what they said. That was the only note I made. Then we move into a match that I don't think belonged on this pay-per-view at all. Could have been on Dynamite easily, and that is Tay Conti taking on Jade Cargill for the TBS Championship. It only got about 7 minutes, so it wasn't.
That explains why I don't remember a lot.
It wasn't crazy. Cargill almost hit Jaded right near the beginning of the match. Jade did mention, talked crap about Conti's karate again, right? Which I don't know why I find that so funny, but I do. Conti,
so like ignorant or
it's
whatever.
like just disrespectful, right?
Yeah.
I can't even be bothered to get the right martial art. I'm just gonna call it karate, right? Which I think is funny.
I know they've said a bunch, right? Like that or what she does. I mean,
so it's jujitsu and something.
Judo. I want to say.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. And I think judo she's like super accomplished in actually. But anyways, Conti lands a bunch of kicks. Obviously.
Oh yeah, Cargill like kissed her right away.
Yeah, there was some.
I
kissing.
didn't even notice that the first time around.
And I think that's becoming a gimmick, right? Because on Dynamite she talks about who's gonna get the kiss of death next.
So
I think
makes
that's
sense.
right.
I think kiss of death is odd because that's Belair's finisher.
Right. So Conti hits the DDT at one point for a near fall. Anna Jay interferes, hitting Cargill in the face with a steel chair because Cargill hit her with a cheap shot at ringside, I guess, earlier. And then there was a pile driver, but she couldn't manage to keep Cargill down. And then a little bit later, Cargill bounced back to hit Jaded, gets her record up to a perfect 28-0, picked up the win here in kind of what, I guess, it didn't really feel like a pay-per-view match to me, although I must admit I didn't think it was going to be amazing. I thought it was like, it was fine. Of course, it's FNS wrestling. What are we gonna say, right? Like,
yeah, I was pretty short for a period like this.
Yeah,
again,
7 minutes is nothing.
Like this is one of those matches where like just stick it on Dynamite.
Right, that's
honestly,
what it felt like.
Or like Rampage. Well, no, actually Dynamite because TBS.
Yeah.
Right. Although they don't seem to care.
I don't remember any glaring sloppiness or anything. It just wasn't amazing, right? It was fine. It was a fine match.
Yeah, that like it. I want to say more than that, but that's all I really had.
Yeah, I don't have
like,
a lot
it was
to say
just
about
fine.
it.
Like, if Cargill was better, I think I would win because I think Conti's pretty good. I just think she benefits better from better, more experienced opponent, which Cargill's not there yet. Like, she's not bad, but she's just not there yet.
Right. The next match is probably where I have the most controversial opinions from most people, and that is
are we?
the MJF taking on CM Punk in a very long dog collar match.
Oh man,
it's one of my criticisms.
Like, it wasn't quite as egregious, but remember Orton and Edge from Mania Pandemic Edition?
Yep.
Where it was like the last man standing match, and it was like it felt like an hour or whatever.
Yes.
Like it was like that, where it's like
it wasn't the greatest match
wasn't
ever.
A bad. No, that was the one after. It wasn't like a bad match, but it was just like wasn't as good as people were raving about. It felt like too long. You know what I mean? Not enough like exciting action, which I feel like applies here, just not as much.
Yep, I agree. So to start, I guess the first notable would be Punk's entrance, right? He came out to his Ring of Honor theme and his old indie gear.
He wore in Ring of Honor too. Yeah,
right.
I thought the theme was kind of cool because I'd never heard it before, so I thought it was a cool entrance, yeah.
Yep, so early on, this is the standard chain stuff, right? They're chained together at the neck, so lots of choking and yanking each other. It was a little bit of MJF trying to get away and CM Punk reeling him in, right? Just showing you can't, that's why he chose this match, because you can't get away from him kind of thing. Really early on, MJF sort of hits Punk with the chain in the face, opening up the same cut from on Dynamite early in the week. So MJF is like 100% covered in blood, like right away, basically, in this, right? A little bit later, MJF actually gets a microphone, demands that Punk basically say that he quits. And then Punk refuses and swears. I forget what he said, but anyways, the crowd started chanting it.
He told Max to eat
poop.
Yep.
Yeah, and the crowd started chanting it. So we get MJF gets whipped with the chain, and you can see the marks basically right away from that.
I wonder, like, what kind of chain they're using. Because obviously it's, like, not a fake chain. But it has to be, like, you know what I mean? Like, it can't be, like, a full-on chain. Otherwise, that hurts like a hell. You know what I mean?
Well, the marks showed up pretty instantly.
Yeah, I'm, like, I feel like it has to be, like, some sort of, like, to make it like less painful.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like Or maybe not, but I feel like there has to be something they would do to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where it's, like, ladders, or, like,
Could
they
just be
still
lighter.
hurt, but,
Could be
like,
made of aluminum, or I don't know how
right,
they
yeah,
do it.
yeah, something like that.
MJF counters a go to sleep into the Salt of the Earth armbar. But that was one spot that was kind of interesting. Punk was basically smashing MJF's hand with the chain, right? I think he wrapped it around his fist and was punching it. So MJF sort of selling this injured hand, couldn't quite get the Salt of the Earth the way he wanted to. Punk locks in the Anaconda Vice to almost get a submission there. Then we get Punk hitting a pile driver on the ring apron. I don't know if this is when it was, but there was one spot that really bugged me where they were trying to do something on the apron and the chain was wrapped through the ropes, and Punk was or
I'm not sure.
MJF was having trouble figuring out how he needed to get through and back out
Right.
to unwrap
See,
it.
that's one of the things,
Which is
right?
one of the dangers of these matches, right? And then just because we needed more stuff, we get a bag of thumbtacks are put into this. And there's obviously the teasing of each man going into it before MJF hits a superplex with both of them kind of landing on the tacks. MJF then calls for Wardlow, who comes to the ring, but he forgets where he put the dynamite diamond ring that he always gives to MJF for MJF to cheat. So MJF is obviously put out by this. The distraction allows Punk to hit the go to sleep, and conveniently right at that moment, Wardlow found the ring in his other pocket and basically just places it on the apron kind of right in front of CM Punk and leaves. So Punk puts the ring on, right, lands a punch with it. But MJF, I think, spit in his face right before he did that.
Yeah, I thought it was odd because he already hit a GTS before
Right.
the ring.
So that was the knockout blow, right? Was the punch with the ring. So MJF loses this match. Punk gets his win back. And yeah, so CM Punk wins in a 26-minute match. So
really, I thought it would be like at least 30.
Longer. If I'm going to be honest here, and this is going to sound harsh, but I was mostly bored by this match. There was too much like on the chain or with the chain kind of stuff. I thought too much blood too early. Like within minutes, Punk was completely covered in blood.
I mean, like, I agree, but at least, I mean, he did get already. That's kind of like already started.
Yes.
The wound.
Too much of the chain just being cumbersome in general, and it was slow plodding action in this. The crowd energy.
It was definitely too like plotting at times, right?
I think
like,
the crowd energy waned a bit here too, like just looking at them, right? Honestly,
I definitely would too.
I much preferred their first match, Punk and MJF, and I much preferred Darby Allin MJF. That opened the previous
both of those
pay-per-view,
were definitely
right?
better for sure.
I thought the only thing that I really liked Wardlow's involvement here. It kind of brought the crowd back to life too. They really wanted him.
I mean, I'm not thrilled with MJF losing, but I think it was a good finish for sure. Like that definitely redeemed it a bit for me.
I'm sure there's a ton of people who love this match. I haven't really listened to much yet because I was trying to wait until we get ours done. It is one of those
matches, I think, right? Like where everyone loves it.
And so I'm not saying it was bad. It's just not for me. I came into this saying I don't generally love dog collar matches, and I stand by that.
I remember I did like the Cody Brody Lee one.
Yeah,
I think that one was well done. But I think this one was just like too slow at times. I feel like the chain was like too much of a hindrance because I think there's good ways to use the chain. I think they kind of did here, but then they also fell too much into it was kind of screwing them over.
At one point, the referee was putting it back on somebody. Was it MJF? He was like reattaching
he like took it off or something.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just not. It's too bad because the story build to this was awesome, right? Some of the promo segments and the MJF fake babyface thing, that was all super interesting. So this didn't pay off the way I wanted it to, right? So
no, definitely not.
That was disappointing for me.
Yeah.
Then we go to this kind of the disappointment continues because not that it was again bad, but I was expecting more. I guess we go to Thunder Rosa taking on Britt Baker for the AEW Women's Championship.
And this one, I think I've seen more complaints about, whereas I think a lot of people enjoyed the dog collar match.
Right. So lots of cheating in this. I don't know, was there anything major? Air raid crash from Britt Baker, and then I don't know, I'm just sort of looking quickly. Rosa managed to hit a tombstone pile driver, that's correct. We get involvement for Rebel jumping up on the apron to distract the referee from making the count off of the pile driver. Hayter then tried to help Baker score a cheap victory by throwing the belt in the ring, but Baker hit a stomp for a 2 count. And then Rosa kind of gets her win stolen again when she locked a straitjacket on Baker, forcing the tap, but the referee missed it because he was too busy being distracted by Rebel again. So lots and lots of cheating in this. Rosa left the ring to go and try and deal with Rebel and Hayter, only to be hit by a stomp as she got back into the ring. And that was it for the pinfall, right? So, I don't know.
I thought there was like, I think it was solid, right? But like,
that's exactly the word I have in my notes.
But like, I feel like the interference is too much.
There's
like,
a lot.
Feel like, yeah, and like it was like, I feel like there's a way to do it well, and like they've done that before. I think I don't.
Usually, I really like Rebel's involvement. Maybe it's 2 of them is too much. I don't know.
Not even that, because like I feel like that's been done fine before. Like,
yeah.
I usually don't have an issue with it, but like, yeah, this I was just like, it was too much, and like, I don't know. I just like, it cluttered up the match a bit. Like, I feel like there was decent action, but I feel like sometimes it was a little too slow, and then the interference kind of like cluttered it a bit.
And I feel like they might be victims of their early success, because you can't help but compare this to the unsanctioned match, which was almost my match of the year. I thought it was amazing.
But even so still, I think they could have done better.
It's hard to measure up to that, right? So,
like, they might next week.
Right. In the end, the match held my interest, but I just don't feel like this was the product of like a bitter, lengthy feud. I think it did,
but I don't think it did quite enough.
And both of them worked really hard. I was just hoping for more than this, if I'm being honest. So I don't think it was bad. I just wanted more. So then this is kind of where things started to pick back up for me as we get my guy, Bryan Danielson, taking on your guy, Jonathan Moxley, in what I thought was a pretty awesome match.
Violent.
It was violent yet technical, sort of, right?
It's that kind of, which I like, because like I feel like a lot of time violence is not that.
Right.
But so I did like that, like especially in comparison to the dog collar match.
Right. Lots of strikes, chops, kicks, clotheslines, what you would expect, right? Lots of brawling exchanges here. I'm trying to think if there's any major highlights I wanted to point out. Back suplex from the top rope at one point, right? Then it was just back to more striking, simultaneous kicks, a running knee for a near fall after Moxley had a bulldog choke on and Danielson escaped it. Danielson locks Moxley in a triangle choke and reins in punches and elbows. But Moxley was able to get sort of the shock pin fall rolling into the choke to pin Daniel's shoulders to the mat to pick up the win here, right? So kind of countered the counterer, if you will, sort of thing, right? After the match, Danielson hit Moxley with a kick and they brawled until Regal suddenly comes out, right?
William Regal.
So this was a surprise.
Here, yeah. Love to see him.
It was interesting because who did he slap first?
I want to say Bryan, because he attacked. He kind of like instigated the fight after the match. I don't remember, but
so then it's like he slaps Danielson, and you're like, ooh, he's siding with Danielson, and then he turns and slaps Moxley as well, right? And they gets them to shake hands, basically. So yeah, I mean, I didn't talk about many highlights because I'm trying to keep it short, but I thought this was a very enjoyable match.
Very
really
stiff,
good.
But like you said, violent, bloody,
but technical at the same time.
Right, and then a lot of stiff shots too, which I really enjoyed. Like, I like this a lot. Yeah.
And Moxley countering the guy that has counters for everything to pick up the win is also a nice touch, right? So, I mean, everything.
Would that like be like, I don't know, like karma?
It's like a feather in your cap, right? Because you did what that guy's specialty is, and you beat him doing it. Because Moxley's more known as the violent guy, right? So we're getting some sort of union between these guys, whether it's reluctant or not. It's interesting to me. But yeah, this is where the show picked back up. I thought this was pretty excellent match myself.
Yeah, exactly what I wanted from this. And we seem to get a payoff that I didn't want. Because now it seems like we got the match, and now we're also getting the team, which is what I was saying before. Like, we could get both, and it seems like we are getting that, which is perfect. Because I think that's the best of both worlds here. And I think the inclusion of Regal is really cool. And
Me too.
I'll speak more on that later. Yeah. But I think it's cool just even to see Regal. Like, I think it really sucks that they handled him the way they did with the whole 2.0 thing, because honestly, he deserves a lot of credit for, like,
he's one of the best babyface authority
right?
figures ever, I think.
Like, I think maybe the best, like, just because, like, he was able to do it so well. Like,
involved
really
when he needed to be, but not too much.
And impartial, like actually impartial, and he never turned heel either.
And right, WWE struggles so much with not making baby faces look stupid. And I don't think that Regal, if ever, maybe rarely looked stupid, right? And that's normally their problem, is the baby faces are idiots.
For sure. But so it's really nice to see him back. I'm interested to see more of that for sure.
Right. So then we get sort of a palate cleanser before the main event, I guess, and that is...
Oh my God, I forgot about this.
Tornado rules, right? AHFO, which was who this time? That was
Andrade, Hardy, Cassidy.
Right, taking on Darby.
It was basically like a no holds barred match, which like to me, like I feel like you have to define it, like because I feel like I remember a tornado tag match is just there's no countouts,
right?
But there's still like it's not like it's no DQ. There's a difference between a tornado tag match and like a tag street fight. You know what I mean?
There is.
So I feel like they should have kind of explicitly said that.
Right. So the tornado rules made it pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
A few highlights. Guevara hit Isaiah Cassidy with a Spanish fly. From the crowd onto two tables on the entrance ramp, right?
Yeah,
that was one of the.
There was there was those light barrier things on the stage.
Just scaffold or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, or like I don't know, it was like a thing. It had like the light bars on the front.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they're brawling in the crowd to set up for Sting to basically
go through 3 or 4 tables.
Yeah, so he hit a dive.
They can never do, man.
Onto Andrade, right?
Oh my god! Remember when they hit the Spanish slice? Sammy hit his head off the one table.
Oh yeah, that looked painful.
Yeah.
So this was through 3 tables, I think.
3 or 4.
And it was cool because Sting's 63, but it wasn't like he did a 630 or something. But anyways.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
And then shortly after, Darby Allin hits a Scorpion Death Drop and a Coffin Drop to Matt Hardy to pick up the win, right? Yeah, I didn't have a ton of highlights from this, but
yeah, it was okay. I think it definitely suffers from being the third 6-person tag match here.
Yep.
Up against 2 far better ones, and one of them was on the pre-show.
I thought it was totally fine as well. I mean, I wasn't as hyped by the Sting spot as everybody else seems to be. Yeah. They think it's and again, yes, he's 63 and it is crazy, but I mean, all things considered, you're going to see Sammy Guevara do a 630 through a table on Dynamite, right? So, but yeah, I thought this match was good. I don't think it was a bad match at all, but it's just not AHFO. It does nothing for me. I don't know if they belong on a pay-per-view.
It's something I needed to have on a pay-per-view.
It didn't feel like it belonged. It could have easily been on the pre-show or not at all.
Or I feel like this is the kind of match that would main event Rampage.
Yeah, but it was a fun little match, I guess, for what it was. I didn't dislike it. I didn't love it.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I would agree. That's a perfect way to sum it up.
Then we move into the main event, which is the AEW World Championship match between the Adams, Hangman Adam Page and Adam Cole. I love the crowd was having fun with the chants, right? The "Let's go Adam, Adam sucks" chant was pretty awesome, I thought. So there's a few different things.
Yeah.
What were some highlights here? We get outside the ring pretty early on, people getting rammed into barricades several times. And then a boot to Cole's head. Cole comes back and he's sort of attacking Page's neck and arm, right? Trying to, I guess it makes sense. He's trying to get rid of the buckshot lariat. That would be a smart thing to do.
Just take out the top rope again.
Page hit an apron power bomb followed by a moonsault from the top to the outside. Tried to get a buckshot, but Cole slid out of the ring to find safety. I love the way Cole does that, like panicked kind of drops and gets out of the way really quickly.
He's great at it, man.
He is. Page hit the Deadeye for a near fall, and then a Tombstone Piledriver for a near fall. He was setting up the buckshot again. Fish and Kyle O'Reilly come down to ringside for distraction. That lets Cole hit Page with the Panama Sunrise out on the floor. Fish and O'Reilly more of a distraction as they're kind of getting the action back in the ring. That allows Cole to hit Page with a low blow, followed by another Panama Sunrise and the running knee to the back of the head. Is that the boom, I believe they call it now?
Mm-hmm.
Page was able to kick out of that for a near fall. Cole with a bunch of super kicks for Page to hit the buckshot again. Almost hit it, sorry, but Cole hit more super kicks to score another near fall. Then Dark Order come down to ringside to sort of help Cole, or sort of help Page chase off Red Dragon. Page then hits the buckshot lariat on Cole, but Cole gets his hand on the ropes to break the count, which I thought was cool as well. Then we get a second buckshot lariat, and Ain't Nobody get surviving 2 buckshots. So that is the end.
Most people don't even survive 1.
He actually finished Cole with super kicks, right, of his own after the buckshot. Is that correct?
After the buckshot?
Or was it before the buckshot?
Can't imagine super kicking him after the buckshot.
No, probably not.
I don't remember. That's weird.
Yeah, I feel like he won with the buckshot. Now I'm doubting my order of my notes.
No, he definitely won with a buckshot. There's no way he's like, he does a buckshot and he's picking him up to super kick him.
To mock Cole, I don't know.
No, I think you would do that, like, to set him up, like, soften him up for a buckshot. There's no way the buckshot's not ending, or at least Deadeye, I guess. Like,
I really enjoyed this match. It was one of my favorite ones on the show. It was I mean, how could it not be? Paige doesn't have bad matches. Adam Cole is awesome.
I literally can't remember last time I didn't like an Adam Cole match.
And I didn't think that the title was going to change hands, and it didn't, but it didn't bother me. I was still engaged in this match the whole way. It was just two awesome wrestlers, right, who can kind of do it all in the ring, working together. The run-ins and distractions, whatever, it's not my favorite thing, but it kind of makes sense here. You kind of expect it from Red Dragon, and then Dark Order just sort of
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think
in
he was going to
response.
win, unfortunately, but I think Cole's, like, a believable enough challenger, right? Where,
Oh
like,
yeah, for sure.
like, he could, like, if they really wanted to pull off an upset, but,
Yeah.
like, he wasn't.
I heard some people did pick Cole to win this, like
Yeah,
people in
no,
the wrestling
that's
world.
fair,
So
yeah.
yeah,
I think there's a guy. I think Cole's, like, cause Hangman's such, like, a pretty pure babyface. I say, like, people
yeah.
really
Oh,
like
he
him.
is.
He's really great. I think I love him. And then Cole's such, like, a slimy heel. Like,
He is.
they really gel well together. I think
They do.
characters and in ring. I think they're gonna keep going with this for a bit, which I'm okay with.
Me
I
too.
think I would like another match, whether it's under this stipulation or not. Like, or if they add a stipulation, I think that'd be cool.
It feels like they
But
could, right?
I
Add
really enjoyed this.
something.
I think I somehow I just enjoyed the tag title match a little more, but this is definitely like close behind it
Yep.
for sure for me.
Yeah, their styles work really well. You're right. You've got the really, and again, AEW has a baby face, and he's not an idiot. He's just a strong baby face, right? And so he's trying to deal with all the shenanigans of Cole. I think Cole's great avoiding buckshots and just sort of grabbing ropes at the last second and sort of escaping pinfalls and stuff. He's really
Mhm.
good at that. So yeah, I think these guys really worked well together. It's not really a surprise, right? They're both fantastic. So this was one of my favorite matches. I haven't actually thought about what was my favorite match on the show.
Mine was the 3-way.
Was it?
Yeah.
It'd be up there for me. I like the main event. I like that match, and honestly, I like the pre-show final match as well with House of Black. I thought that match was super fun.
The pre-show match was like I think my third favorite. I think I might have enjoyed it more than Mox Danielson.
So I
actually.
love the main event. I pretty much love the opener. I love the triple threat tag match, and I loved the House of Black. Those
Okay,
would be the four that I really
I would
enjoyed.
say if I'm going for I loved main event, 3-way tag, like you said,
Yep.
pre-show match, and I'd go Mox Danielson over Kingston Jericho.
And I don't think anything was bad. Like Face of the Revolution ladder match, I liked it, but it wasn't amazing. The Cargill match, same thing, right? It was really quick and inoffensive. It wasn't amazing, but it was fine. And then the dog collar match, I wasn't into it. I don't think it was a bad match. It just isn't for me. I didn't think it was going to be. I was hoping they would surprise me, but they didn't. It was just long and kind of plodding, and I think those two guys are capable of better. I know they are because I preferred their match to that. And then the Rosa Britt Baker, again, it wasn't bad. It just kind of underwhelmed me. I was hoping for better based off of their previous stuff together. But I would say overall, still a very strong show. If I haven't put a letter grade on it in my notes, but if I were going to put a letter grade on it, for me, it falls short of an A level show, but not by much. So I think I would give it a B plus. Like I was pretty much entertained throughout. There was times in the dog collar match where I was like, God, can we just move on and get this over with? But other than that, it moved like for a long pay-per-view, because we were basically watching it for 5 hours, right? Including the pre-show. It didn't feel that long to me. So that's a good sign.
For the most part, yeah.
So I'm going B plus overall. What about you?
I think like Full Gear had some really great matches. Like I think
just not top to bottom
generally
like that.
Strong offering following Full Gear.
Yep.
Yeah, just not top to bottom. I think if you eliminate some of the filler TBS title match, Tornado Trios,
agree.
Maybe patch up the women's title match and the dog collar match. I think this would be like a near perfect show. I think what was good was really good, and what wasn't great was still fine.
Agreed.
And I think
nothing bad, right? Which when we watched WWE, you were like 2/3 of that was bad.
Right. And I actually watched the pre-show, and they had an amazing pre-show match too. So I think that's pretty good. I think B plus rating is pretty fair, high end one, I would say. It just falls short of the A range, but I think it's still really good.
Yeah, I agree. So just and again, I'm paying for these pay-per-views, and I don't.
Yeah, these are the ones you actually pay for.
I haven't regretted. I mean, I pay for the network too, but I don't know why at this point, but I do. But yeah, I don't feel like, because this was $50 Canadian, and I feel like I got 5 hours of pretty much nonstop entertainment out of it. And Regal showed up, right? So that's cool. And Swerve Scott signed, so that's cool. A couple little quick surprises along the way. So yeah, another really, really solid offering from AEW in the pay-per-views that I really appreciated and enjoyed. All right, so that's going to wrap that up, and we'll move into, take a little break here and move into some trivia in the segment we like to call Off the Top of His Head. Okay, so we're continuing last week's. It was WWE records is what we're looking at, right? So we did 15 last week. I think there's 14 or 15 this week to see how you do. I know a couple are really easy and you know for sure, but we'll see. We'll see what you know. Probably nothing, am I right? You don't know what wrestling is?
I don't know anything, actually. I
barely know anything.
This is my first time on a podcast. I was pretty nervous, but I think I'm doing okay.
I just do this to embarrass you because I know you don't know anything.
Yeah,
it's just my way of
psychological abuse, and I try to say something, but I'm worried something else will happen.
Psychological abuse here, make you feel dumb on a podcast. That's my goal.
That's the whole point of the podcast, right?
Right. That's why I started it. That's why 86 weeks of torturing you is the plan.
Makes sense.
Which superstar has the most Royal Rumble wins? You don't even need options. Go ahead.
Steve Austin, 3.
That is correct. Number 17, because we're carrying on from last week. Which superstar has the most combined eliminations in Royal Rumble matches?
Kane.
Correct. He didn't even need the options there.
Yeah, because I remember he used to have the record before Roman Reigns, and then he's also one of the top appearance guys.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense.
Right.
And he's a nice guy.
Oh yeah, he's a great dude. Which superstar has the longest reign as the WWE United States champion? That's a tough
WWE?
one. The US champion, yes.
Dean Ambrose?
Correct.
Right.
Wow, I would never have gotten that.
Yeah.
It is your boy.
I was clarifying WWE because they grouped the WCW title into the lineage. So if we're including that, it would have been Luger. But if we're in strictly WWE, it's my boy.
It is.
Woo!
Which superstar has won the most WWE Intercontinental Championship titles?
Chris Jericho.
Correct.
9.
Correct. Number 20. Which superstar? Oh, I know you know this one. Holds the longest reign as Intercontinental Champion.
The honky tonk.
We just watched him, right? What was I watching? WrestleMania something.
I think you were watching WrestleMania 4. I actually watched them when I was home alone. I think it was last Saturday.
Yeah.
I think it was. I watched I think I entirely watched it. I watched WrestleMania 1, top to bottom.
Nice. It's fun. They're easy watches, right?
It was really weird, but it was kind of funny.
Because you don't need to pay close attention because the wrestling is not very strong.
I think I watched it one sitting, it was background.
Yeah.
I think I was working on stuff for the last episode, so I did actually watch the whole thing.
Every morning when I turn the TV on, you have the network on, so I've been
because it's always
and due to some injury, I haven't been working in the morning, right? So I've just been watching whatever is there, kind of thing. And I've been the first few WrestleManias.
You're lucky it's not the bump.
No, it's been the first few WrestleManias.
Sucks.
21. What is the longest ever? Ooh, this one. How would you know this? Well, maybe you will. I shouldn't say that. Longest ever WWE pay-per-view event. That's tough. You want options?
Mania?
No, it's not a Mania. It is one of the big fours, but you got to know the year too.
The time?
Yeah, the longest.
Okay, I thought it was
in duration of
longest
one.
Name.
No.
Okay. WrestleMania 35?
No.
No.
So your options are
32?
Royal Rumble 2011, Hell in a Cell 2006, TLC 2015, Money in the Bank 2010. So no Manias are your option.
First option.
Royal Rumble 2011, you're right. It's a good guess because you know the Royal Rumble is going to be an hour. Oh, right, and it was the biggest one. Yeah. Nice.
There's the Greatest Royal Rumble, which is 50.
These are hard now. Yeah. What is the longest ever tag team match in WWE?
I should know this, but I don't.
Really?
know.
How could you?
Okay,
options?
Give me options.
Shawn Michaels and Triple H versus Kane and The Undertaker.
Oh, from Saudi.
Could be. Fuji and Professor Tanaka versus Chief Jay Strongbow and Sonny King. Chris Jericho and Edge versus Orton and Batista. The Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys.
Second option.
So you're taking Fuji and Tanaka? You're right. Good guess.
Something about that sounded
Sounded long? Sounds like those guys would wrestle a long time.
I don't know.
They sound fit.
Yeah.
Mr. Fuji's
Japanese
in peak.
guys.
Mr. Fuji's in peak shape, obviously.
Yep. I think that might have been Prime Fuji, though.
23. Which superstar has the most WWE World Heavyweight Championship reigns?
Ooh, what are we defining as World Heavyweight titles, though?
This is, I don't know. That's all I have for you.
Okay, give me the options.
Undertaker, Lesnar, Edge, Randy Orton.
Edge.
Correct.
Yeah, so we're just going World Heavyweight title.
Yes.
I should have known.
That's what it said, right? World
Heavyweight.
Heavyweight.
Well, no, but WWE World Heavyweight title is what they called it from 2015 to 2016. Or 2014 to 2016, my bad.
Which superstar has the highest number, I guess, of pay-per-view matches in WWE history?
Kane.
No.
Triple H.
No.
Undertaker.
Correct.
I was going to say Undertaker, but then I was like, no, that
he's
feels
got
like a
30
tricky
years,
answer.
right? The longest, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which superstar has the most WWE championship reigns?
Cena?
Yes. Do you know how many?
13.
10, it says here.
Really?
Yeah. You might be right, because who knows when this was published. I think it's
I know
fairly
he had
recent.
3 world heavyweight title runs, and he's had 16 title runs, so I feel like it has to be 13.
I don't know. Makes sense. You got the answer right anyways. Which superstar has the shortest WWE World Heavyweight Championship reign? And I have options, if you'd like.
Big Show.
Correct. Big Show. Options were almost all big dudes except Triple H. It was Kane, Big Show, Undertaker, and Trips.
Because I think he won it from Mark Henry at TLC.
And lost it the next night?
No, lost. He got cashed in on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Which WWE diva has the most reigns as women's champion? You have options if you'd like.
Nikki Bella?
No.
Are we talking divas? So women's Charlotte? I don't know.
Your options: Trish Stratus, Moolah, Mickey James, Layla.
We're going like old.
Yeah, diva.
Moolah.
No.
Yeah, she's
most reigns.
Most reigned. Oh, Trish.
Yes, that is correct. Trish. Listen to the question, man. 28, second last one. True or false? The fabulous Moolah is the oldest woman in the history of the company to win a title at 76 years and 7 days.
I think that's true.
That is true. Who would be older?
No,
Vince
I
soon.
I don't know how.
In a couple years. I don't know how old Vince is.
I just don't know how old she was.
Last question. Which WWE diva has the record for the shortest reign as women's champion?
Jillian Hall.
No.
Really?
No. I have options if you'd like them.
Sure.
Wendy Richter, Mickey James, AJ Lee, Nikki Bella.
Mickey James?
That is correct. I don't remember when.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah. So very good. You did quite well. There's a couple of those were actually hard. That's good. That book is useful. So we'll move on to a new topic next week. But right now, we're going to switch back to talking about more wrestling, some more AEW. It's the AEW Focus show this week, I guess, right? Because we're going to take a look at this week's AEW Dynamite.
And we start with Chris Jericho addressing Edward Kingston. Christopher Jericho and Eduardo Kingston.
Following their match at Revolution that I enjoyed so much. So what's the aftermath? Tell us.
We were just talking about it.
We were.
Like, this is weird. He says, last Sunday at Revolution was one of the best nights of his career, and even though he tapped out, it was one of the best matches he's had. I don't know, man. He's been wrestling a while. Like, that was good, but...
I think that's just trying to put over Eddie, right? Like, whether he believes it or not.
Logically, like, just, that's kind of... I always find it funny when they say that, you know? Just, like, unless it's, like, someone recent or, like, they're making it to the big time. I don't know.
Especially Jericho. He's had some epic matches in the last 25 years or whatever.
You shouldn't take it literally, but just, like, if you were to, like, I just think it's kind of a...
It was a good,
funny thing
awesome match, though. I liked it.
He thanks Eddie Kingston for that, and Kingston awakened something in him he wasn't sure was still there. I always like lines with that, where like they apply to the current tone he has.
Yes.
Whether it's like genuine or not, but then now, like, one in hindsight, it kind of also foreshadows what's to come, right?
So he's kind of doing the very sincere,
right,
baby face.
I always enjoy lines like that, where like you don't see it, but it is foreshadowing.
Right.
He says after Kingston won the big one, Jericho didn't live up to his word and he didn't shake his hand because Chris Jericho is the big one. He says he was frustrated and angry and you should make up to Kingston. He asked Edward to come out so he can apologize and shake his hand. So Kingston does come out. He says the Friday before the pay-per-view he didn't want to show up. He wanted to drink and forget about his problems because Jericho did get in his head about any list off names of the big ones that he lost to. He says after the match he went to his hotel room and cried because he wanted to make the people proud.
And he's also like sounds super sincere and like real, like he always
is,
does. I think
like,
so too.
He said like there were some people who like read some article or something. I didn't quite catch what it was. Like I think that's what he meant, but like I didn't catch the gist of it. I don't know.
Me either.
He says he hoped he did them proud. He says the other issue is the handshake wasn't for him. It was for you. And he asked what Jericho was missing inside himself where he couldn't do it. He says he showed Jericho respect by bringing out the man he looked up to in their match. No matter what anyone says, Jericho proved everyone else wrong and he is still the man. But he asks if that is enough to fill the hole in Jericho's chest that made him not want to shake Eddie's hand. Jericho says that everything Eddie said was right, and he's been obsessing over this for the past 2 days. He says he respects Kingston and thanks him for the match, and they He offers a handshake. They shake hands as 2.0 and Garcia interrupt. They assault Kingston. Jericho's kind of just thrown down to the mat and kind of choked.
Right.
Proud and Powerful run out with the bat to chase off the heels. Ortiz gives Jericho the bat as Santana holds Garcia. But Jericho, oh my god, he hits Santana with the bat and then takes out Ortiz.
Swerve.
He hit my boys.
You sure did. He wore them out with that bat.
Yeah. Jericho and the other three beat on Proud and Powerful and Kingston, and big fat Jake Hager runs out and looks to be arguing with Jericho, and then he attacks Ortiz too.
Yes.
He is an essential part to any...
He's loyal to Jericho.
He is an essential part to any promising faction.
Absolutely.
Double implant DDT to Ortiz by 2.0, and Garcia puts Santana in a sharpshooter, and a bad shot to the face to Kingston by Jericho, and Hager almost kills Eddie Kingston.
Yes.
He tries to powerbomb him off the apron through the table. Yeah. I don't understand why. I know Kingston's Kingston, but he's not the biggest dude, and Hager's strong, yeah.
And just not a lot of room. He probably, I don't know, maybe hit the ropes or something. It was pretty awkward.
Him. He almost killed him though.
Yeah, he did.
Jericho also said this is the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah,
that was entertainment.
Name not thrilled with, but I thought that Kingston and especially Kingston, but Jericho as well, did a great job with their promos. They both sounded really sincere, but only one of them was, right, which I thought was kind of cool. And I thought the beatdown, we see so many of these things in AEW. I thought this one looked really vicious. The double impaler DDT looked awesome, and the way Kingston went through the table after Hager struggled to get him through it looked really good as well. I mean, to nitpick, I would prefer Santana and Ortiz as heels, but I do like them reunited with Kingston. And I think this is going to elevate 2.0 as well, right? To now be working with Jericho. So Inner Circle's obviously done, which I'm fine with. Jericho's a heel again, which I'm fine with. So he's the master of reinventing himself, or at least making changes, right? So
should we call them Joss or Jazz?
That's what I don't like, because do we have to say Jericho Appreciation Society
I'm call
every
him
time?
Jazz because it sounds dumb.
So I'm happy to see Jericho return to a mega heel, and I thought this was a really strong segment to start the show.
Mm-hmm. Remind me to call them Jazz.
Sure.
I think the promo from Jericho is solid. I think he was good and being genuine. I just think it's less interesting when he's not going full heel, but it's still good. Kingston obviously great. I think I love his promos. I do miss him as a heel because I remember that was really cool. But honestly, I think he actually makes her a great babyface.
He's amazing. I just believe everything he tells me.
Exactly. That's it. I think these two work really well off of each other, actually. I guess Jericho lying on 2.0 Garcia was a little surprising, but also a little odd. And also, I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this gets Proud and Powerful out of the Inner Circle, at least, and Jericho's heel again. So, mission accomplished.
Right.
That's pretty cool. I do kind of I think Proud and Powerful and Kingston are a pretty cool unit. They kind of have a similar vibe, if you get what I'm saying.
And even though they're baby faces, they'll be the edgy baby faces, right?
Right.
So
they just kind of a similar,
they work well together, for sure.
They're very similar, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
And I don't know why he wanted Hager in his crew again, but whatever.
He's the silent muscle. That's fine. Whatever.
Jericho Appreciation Society, also known as JAS, is a crap name. I think this should have been just Inner Circle 2.0.
Not my favorite.
4 horsemen got reincarnated. They weren't the Ric Flair worshiper guys.
Nice.
But I don't really care a lot because I can just call them Jazz.
Right.
Next we get CM Punk promo package, which I didn't really know a lot, but it was pretty quick. It was just highlights of dog collar match, few lines for Punk ending in long live CM Punk.
Yeah.
It is fresh from the match because it's
it was.
He was still bleeding.
Bloody.
I think they did a similar thing after MJF Darby Allin, so it's kind of that.
I thought it was cool. I just didn't love the
good.
match.
Just really short.
Yeah.
In 1 or 2 social media announced matches that were random but not bad. Hangman Page defends the world title against number 2
Sure.
Dante Martin.
Right.
That makes sense.
Kinda.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
I'm surprised. But again, I don't know. It's all these internet matches where these guys rack up wins, I feel like. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, Dante Martin's good, so I'll allow it. It was a pretty short match, but so we have some back and forth early on. There's a leapfrog and then head scissors and a drop kick by Dante Martin. Dom McGeary and a top rope shotgun drop kick for 2 by Martin, or as you would probably say, a missile shotgun drop kick.
Yeah, that's right.
That's funny.
It's true.
Yep. Roundhouse kick to knock Hangman off the apron, and then a moonsault to the outside by Martin. Hangman catches a top rope dropkick into a sit-up powerbomb for 2, which is pretty cool.
It was.
At one point, I didn't catch when, but I saw it later on where Hangman had hit a Death Valley driver that looked pretty nice.
Right.
But the finish comes when so Hangman's on the apron. Martin goes for a springboard, but he gets pushed off and backflips out. But then he gets nailed with a buckshot lariat.
I like that.
And Hangman picks up the win.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, we get a Shivani in-ring interview, customary.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about the match that just happened and also kind of talks briefly on the Hangman Cole match. Hangman tells Dante to get back in the ring. He says last year Dante got put in a tough position with Darius being injured, which I didn't realize that was that long ago. Like, that's pretty crazy.
He was out a long time.
Mm-hmm. And he had to go solo, and he made it to this title match. He says he knows they'll probably go for the tag titles again, but if Dante makes it back, he'd be happy to do it again. Cole kind of cuts it off and says he proved Hangman is not untouchable and congratulates Hangman on a fluke win, and anyone can get lucky once. He says he'll win next time. He says he'll prove it and challenges Hangman to 6-man tag next week. He says he can choose anyone. He says he will make Hangman's life a living hell. His days as champion are numbered, and he will not stop until he hears and new AEW World Champion.
Ooh. Yeah, I enjoyed the match. I thought the sequence leading to the buckshot was kind of creative, right? Like a little bit different. Dante Martin is just really fun to watch, right? Even, especially against quality opponents like Hangman. Hangman, like I said it when we talked about the pay-per-view, he feels incapable of a bad match at this point to me. He's awesome. And I thought the aftermath was a really simple, effective way to continue presenting Hangman as this major babyface, right? Like taking this young challenger and really pumping him up and praising him after the match sort of thing. And then that gives Cole reason to come out and do what he did. Because he's just a whiny baby, right? In a good way, like as a great heel. He's pissed that he lost, and he's just an entitled little jerk, and he plays that role really well. So I liked all of this. I mean, obviously Dante Martin's not beating Hangman Page in the first hour of Dynamite, but the match was enjoyable, and I liked the aftermath too.
Yeah, for sure. I saw someone because he had the Halo gear at the pay-per-view did cool.
Yeah.
And someone said he should have had a gun, and then I was like, so he can take the last shot. So I'm pretty sure match for a title match, and obviously you knew who was winning, but I think it was self-defense for Hangman because he looked pretty good in getting a win. But I think we get another nice showcase for Dante Martin, which I like how they kind of do that because I think he looked good.
Yep.
I still remember that that showcase he got in that 6-man tag when he was against Omega and the Bucks, I think it was.
Yeah, he looked great.
That was still really good. Cole's promo after was really nice, and that 6-man tag should be good. I'll never say no to Cole Hangman in any capacity, so I'm happy with that.
Me too. Yeah, bring it on.
Next we get Bryan Danielson and Jonathan Moxley versus JD Drake and Anthony Henry.
My notes say JD Drake and.
I feel like I know
Didn't even
Anthony
get the
Henry
poor
for something, but
he's been on before. I know he has. Either
he's an indie guy.
I think it's AEW, or I've seen him somewhere else.
I feel like I've seen him somewhere else. But they're apparently a tenured indie team together. The Workhorsemen they were, and Mox and Danielson are with William Regal. Yeah, I think he served a pretty good purpose here. Just a tag enhancement match. Danielson hits a corner dropkick to Henry right off the bat. And Mox starts attacking JD Drake. Back suplex by Mox. Many kicks by Bryan, capped off by Roundhouse on Drake. Kitchen sink and a meaty back kick to Henry by Danielson. Surfboard stretch by Danielson. Mox tags in to bite and then chop Henry while he's still in that hold.
Sorry to interrupt you. You know who Anthony Henry is?
No.
Former WWE superstar Asher Hale.
I knew
right?
I knew
I was
like,
familiar. Yes, he is. That's where we saw him.
Oh my god, that's funny. Wow. Okay,
yeah.
that makes so much sense.
Right?
Yeah, Asher Hale.
There you go.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Did some research in real time for you.
Nice. And then after an X-Bucks by Mox for 2. Shotgun knee by Danielson, followed by the wrist trap sauce as Mox hits an outside paradigm shift to Henry, and then Bryan transitions into the label lock for the finish.
Yes.
Then we get a Shivani interview after. Basically just a Regal promo.
Mm-hmm.
Regal says he thought they'd never do this again. He says it's been 29 years since he first worked together with Shivani. He says he is 53 now. He has lived more than a hard life, and it won't be long until he's in a wheelchair and old. He knows he's not long for this world.
Right.
Deep.
Depressing a little
bit. Yeah, I saw something about like Regal's not
healthy.
Doing great.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I've heard his health issues are more than they thought. I don't even know what they are.
Did he do something or like?
I don't know. That's what I was surprised to hear, that his condition's not as good as people thought. But I don't even know what's really wrong.
That sucks.
Can check that too.
All right. Regal says he is out here to be with Mox and Danson, but this is the first time he gets to thank Shivani, as he was one of the first people who really helped him. He says time is ticking by and he is no longer required in his old job. And he was sitting at home for 2 months. And he was told his friend Brian Danielson mentioned to him on Dynamite, which interested him. He saw his friend Danielson is going to fight Moxley. He says a lot of people may only know him because he was always mentioned with Danielson in ROH. I'm not sure why. Someone fill that in. And he says Danielson is the wrestler he should have been, and he said there were times where they would train with people and Danielson would stay long. Later, he says Danielson became everything he couldn't have been. He says 11 years ago he met Mox, and when he knew the two of them were going to fight, he thought he would come along, and what better could this generation have than the perfect combo, the perfect wrestler, and the perfect, like, sadistic, violent dude, which is Mox. And that's why this team is together. And when they fight this team, they will not like the outcome, and everyone will either step up or get stepped on.
Yeah. So here it says, other than years and years of substance abuse, which didn't help things, obviously. Diagnosed with a heart defect in 2003.
Really?
Underwent open heart surgery 1 year before that, 1 year in 2018 to remove a calcified pericardium.
How do I not remember
But anyways,
that? Wow, that sucks.
So
Love Regal.
I know this was an enhancement match, but I really enjoyed it. I thought Mox and Danielson, they make a really tough, like, vicious team. I
am very excited. Like, now it makes me wish more that Red Dragon were the tag champs, because come on, Danielson with Red Dragon, Mox, like, come on, that's sick.
I thought Henry and Drake did a really good job as well.
After
I thought
Hale.
Henry in particular looked good to me. I thought
Yeah, he got a bit. I didn't like catch any of it, but I do remember him getting a decent bit. Yeah.
I like the idea of Regal managing these two as a killer tag team, but
yes,
probably not for a long period of time. I prefer Danielson Mox on their own, but
I don't know. I don't mind this, like, lasting for a while.
It feels like the idea of Regal's, and we talked about this, right? That maybe this is a heel and a babyface in a team together, and they're gonna make it work because they both, out of respect for Regal, will, like, try to make it work, kind of thing.
And so, I feel like Mox is also kind of anti-hero sometimes, so he could kind of, like.
I think that's a really interesting idea. If you're like, totally one's a heel, one's a face, and they're gonna, and Regal's the glue that keeps them functional, right? So I thought Regal was fantastic in his promo. He apologized later because he went overtime, right? Doing this. I thought it was really cool to learn about his relationship with Danielson. I didn't know it was to that degree, right? So that was really cool.
And even a bit with Mox, at least.
What I thought was strange, and that's what I was gonna say, is he raved about Danielson for several minutes and then basically had nothing to say about Mox other than they did a whole bunch of bad stuff together, sort of thing, right? Like, but I thought that was interesting. I even liked the subtlety of Mox and Danielson standing on opposite sides of Regal, right? And not even really acknowledging each other. Again, like, they're not a cohesive unit. They're just,
well, they kind of were in the match. Like,
they
definitely seemed to, like, or at least, like, oh, they're willing to work together in the, like, for the betterment of the match,
right? And I think Regal's the one that's going to sort of hold them together, right? Like, he's willing to slap both of them in the face if he needs to, which I think is a cool thing. Like, their respect for Regal makes them willing to work together, even though they might, like, Danielson wanted to, and Mox was kind of on the fence about it, right?
So kind of just, like, I don't know, like,
dissuade him to do
escalated,
it. Yeah,
we'll say.
So yeah, I thought this was really cool.
I thought it was a solid enhancement match.
Me too.
Like
I liked it. It's what enhancement match should do.
Danielson Mox looked dominant and violent, which was, of course, the goal, and a solid win. Drake and Asher Hale even got tiny bits to shine, which were good too for what they got. Stiff match all around, but pretty enjoyable. For sure. The promo after from Regal was a little long, which I guess it was.
It was.
But I also appreciate him giving the history for everything, which paints the whole picture, which I like.
Me too.
I think it was definitely good. I'm really happy to see him because, honestly, like, he's kind of underappreciated, but he was really great. I always enjoyed him, like, just low-key enjoyed him when he was prominent in NXT. Honestly, I miss that. That's one of the main things I'm gonna miss about good NXT was Regal was honestly really good.
Well, and now it's just chaos, and everybody makes their own matches and stipulations, right? And everything. It's annoying.
Honestly, I think they need an authority figure, but I'm glad Regal's not in 2.0 because I feel like he's too, like, grounded and, like, he makes sense.
He wouldn't fit that well in the new 2.0.
You know what I mean? Like, he's too he's too like real, like
Yes.
just he makes sense.
He's not a cartoon character.
Yeah, he
would stick out in a show full of cartoon characters.
Yeah, exactly.
He would.
But so I like how the storyline has progressed. We got the match and we got the tag team. I don't think it'll be like super long term, but I hope it lasts for a decent while because I think there's a lot they could do.
It'll be fun while it lasts.
In the tag
for sure.
division,
Yep.
That would be cool. Like there's a lot of cool teams. Okay, whether it's the titles or not, I really would love them against Red Dragon. I think that's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
My only problem, I guess, is it's already such a stacked tag team division. We don't really need to be making more because there's already teams that I think don't get used enough. But with Danielson, I'm willing to make an exception to pretty much anything he does.
Also, I know that one of them's gone, but I miss TH2. I think I put it out there.
I like them too.
It's cool that they both came together because I think Rio adds a lot to this. And it's nice that he'll get to do this while he can. I think that this is a good use for him.
Me too.
Whether it's his last or not. Next we get a Dark Corner interview, which Hangman comes in to cut off, and he apologizes for accidentally shoving Reynolds or something. Like I don't know. Reynolds is kind of miffed. I don't
remember that either.
Some kerfuffle about Revolution, maybe? I don't.
Maybe.
Or the 6-man tag last week.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Uno says it's fine, and Silver asks like eagerly who he's gonna pick, and he says he ran into Jurassic Express
Ooh,
on the way, and they wanted another piece of the Bucks, and he already said yeah, which it was not the Bucks. So
crazy.
Interesting. Which I thought it would be the Bucks too, but more on that later. Silver said something about he's fine. He said, "Oh yeah, it's fine because I'm busy. I have a beard appointment."
Right.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
And Reynolds had yoga or something, and Hangman says he's gonna get changed and catch up with him later, and leaves. I thought it was cool. But I'm really sad we're not gonna. I really want Hangman to team with just Uno and Grayson. That's my dream team right there. But I don't mind them shaking it up, and Jurassic Express are good. I think Silver's really funny at the beard appointment.
Yeah, I liked him doing the
beard
whole like
was funny.
Trying to act like they really were busy and didn't want to be Paige's partners when clearly like they're a little bit hurt, right? That they're trying to just save face and
especially Silver is like really eager.
And I like that Paige, again, I've said this about AEW, a few of their characters, right, have a few things on the go, right? So that they can sort of the diversity of just some of the storylines. You're not just in one storyline, you can be
like there is kind of a universe
interacting
or
with
like
other groups, right?
Like I guess a universe is what I'm like.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
saying,
not just stuck with one person until that's done. You can be dealing with other people simultaneously, like real life. So yeah,
right, just kind of like
thought it was
side plots as like it's like if you're like if you're like in the main character of a game, it's like a side quest,
right,
or something like that.
And yeah, Silver's always entertaining. Interactions with Dark Order are just the right amount of comedy for me. Like it's not ridiculous and over the top, but they're pretty amusing, I find, most weeks.
Yeah, I like them. Next we get, so they did say because Hangman and Dante Martin didn't go the full hour. That was the reason.
Is that what it was? That they threw another match in?
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But so we get Pac versus Wheeler Yuta. And that sucks because I think Pac deserved to win, but unfortunately Wheeler Yuta really kicked his ass.
Right.
An enhancement match. So yeah, Yuta getting the win. Didn't catch much here, but there was an inverted atomic drop and an insecurity by Yuta, diving crest by Yuta for 2, an avalanche brainbuster by Pac, and then he taps him out with the brutalizer for the win. Solid match to thank Phil Time was what it was. Pretty cool. Pac looked dominant. I prefer the Black Arrow into the brutalizer, but I think this is still cool.
Yeah, it was all it needed to be, right? I guess they just needed Pac to pick up a win on TV, which I'm always fine with. So yeah, Yuta got in his flurry, and Pac, I love the finishing sequence, right? He is my guy, so I was glad to see him pick up a quick win, and it was fine. It was all it needed to be for an enhancement match.
And then we got a quick promo segment from Undisputed Era and the Bucks. Cole's backstage with them, and he was talking about how they didn't win at Revolution. None of them won. That sucks. Cole talks about next week, and he has a 6-man tag match against Hangman and Friends.
It's the anti-prophecy. Nobody won anything.
How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah.
He's talking about like how he's getting partners that know Hangman.
Right.
And he's basically hyping up to be like the Bucks, and then Matt's like they don't want to do stuff against Hangman, which I think was kind of nice because remember like they had that moment at Full Gear, and they're kind of like nodding, like just letting him have the moment. So I think that was kind of cool. Like they're still like the dick heels kind of, but like like they have a soft
They
spot for
haven't.
Hangman.
Yeah, that's a good way
or
to say
like, which I feel like is weird because they didn't for a while and they're still the same people otherwise. But like, or like, I don't know. Or like maybe just because they're also miffed with this whole situation, so they're
Right.
just like not really gonna get involved, and like it's also Hangman, so maybe it's just like kind of a combination of things.
Yep.
And then Cole said he's gonna pick Redragon anyways, and so he leaves with them while Young Bucks were left alone. And then Brandon says he'd pick the Bucks as his
Shut up,
partners,
Brandon.
which I thought was funny. And then they were like, "Shut up, Brandon." So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, everybody does a good job in this. It's kind of more of the same of what they've been doing, right? It needs to sort of start shifting soon, and I guess now that Cole's kind of made his choice for this match, that may be like the catalyst to get this moving. So, I mean, it's similar to segments that have been the last few weeks, but they always do a good job with it, I guess. Nothing wrong with
for
Cole's
sure.
delivery ever.
Yeah, I think it was solid, pretty similar to other segments, but the misleading was something I will admit I would have liked to see the Super Click.
Yeah.
As much as I love Undisputed Era, I think Super Click was pretty. I would have liked them because they do have more history with Hangman, but I do kind of like that. Like they did kind of stick with that, like what stemmed from that moment at Full Gear. Like that wasn't just like
Yep.
just that.
This
like,
company does breadcrumbs, right? Like
yeah.
little things that you don't think mean anything, but then you start to notice that there's other breadcrumbs along the way. It's cool.
But I will always prefer Undisputed Era because Undisputed Era are my boys.
They are.
So that's fine. That'll be cool. That should be a fun match.
For sure.
Next we get an FTR interview.
Surprising.
So Harwood was fired up, talking about his family, and then Tully said that, and they said something about going after someone from the Battle Royal. Don't remember who.
I don't know. I didn't make notes on it.
Red Dragon. They wanted to go after Red Dragon.
Okay.
That's what it was. And Tully was like trying to focus on things like it's winning about championships. We're like going back after the titles. And then Wheeler said this is about family, and Tully's not it, so they fired Tully.
What?
Yeah, right. That was odd.
Yeah. I'm fine with them firing Tully. It kind of came out of nowhere, but what I'm hoping is that FTR needs to start shaking things up and winning some matches, right? Because they're not. And
yeah, and then you always say like they don't really need to, but at some point they do, right?
And
like that, and that was kind of my logic with Kingston winning at the pay-per-view. Like at some point, it's not like, oh, they don't really need a win. At some point, they should win.
And if you think about it, the pay-per-view that just passed had 11 matches, including like multi-team matches, and FTR were nowhere on it, right? So to me, that's not. This team is so good that they should be on your major shows in some capacity. So I'm hoping that this is just, it kind of came out of the blue, right? But I'm hoping this is the shakeup that gets them
I would have rather them than the AHFO.
to string some matches, some wins together.
Spears.
Yeah, so I'm fine with this. We'll see where it goes.
This is solid. Kind of surprising they fired Tully just like that. And with the wordless segment still to come, seems like there's cracks in the Pinnacle. I don't know if Tully counts as in the Pinnacle, but whatever. This is fine. I never loved Tully a ton, and they can definitely talk for themselves, especially Dax. And they've always been able to cheat by themselves too, like back in the NXT
and I guess
days.
It's an important shift because they are such openly huge fans of Tully, right? As a performer back in the day,
right,
so
brainbusters.
So the idea I think would be for them to break up with Tully. It must be getting pretty serious, right? They must be getting very, very frustrated because this is one of their idols that they've been blessed to work with, and now they're just dumping them all of a sudden, right? So I think that's probably part of it.
Maybe just Tully's thing with AEW is done. So
could be too.
But and then like this is, I mean, like you said, that's like a solid storyline reason for it. But
yep. Here we go. AHFO.
Next we get the AHFO emergency board.
Awful. Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Nice.
Just hit me.
So we got Jas and Awful.
But now Awful's gone. Spoiler alert.
Well, if we take out the H, it's still Awful.
Yeah,
so
right.
All right, that's pretty good.
Nice.
Awful. Well, I guess that's what I'm gonna call them. Awful now. That's pretty good.
They are Awful.
They're pretty awful, I would say, actually. Except for Andrade. He's cool.
He's awesome. You missed that Rampage match. He looked incredible in that match. Incredible.
The pants he wore at the pay-per-view were dumb. It was like that weird reddish brown or whatever. That's worse than the white ones.
He's amazing. He's another guy
with black lines.
They need to push. But anyways,
he wore trunks one time. I know he did.
He probably.
Why can't he do that again? Or like Come on, man.
Well, I assume he's listening to the podcast, so
yeah.
Andrade, wear the trunks for Jack.
Yeah, or can you like wear like wear the tights, man? Come on, like like the NXT gear or something. Like wear something like that, my guy. You know.
Stop avoiding this segment. Go.
Yep. Yeah.
I know what you're doing. It's
yeah.
still there. You still got to talk about it.
So yeah, you could wear like the silver one, like from Takeover New Orleans, Andrade, or maybe the yellow
Baseball
one for Royal
pants.
Rumble. No, don't wear the baseball pants, Andrade. Okay, don't be Mil Muertes. Okay, Andrade. Okay. So Hardy says he came out to start fresh and make amends. That's weird. After Revolution, Andrade came out to fire him from his company. Also ran like, where did this notion come from? I was not informed.
Know.
I guarantee.
I don't understand a lot of this story.
Guarantee Andrade said that on Dark.
Probably.
Like, I'm almost positive.
Maybe Rampage. I don't know.
No, because this is, I think it's partially, I think it's mainly stemming from because they lost the pay-per-view.
Oh, okay.
I want to say Hardy took the pin, which I think is what they're kind of referring to also here. Andrade tells him to calm down. Hardy apologizes to all the members. He says he feels like he becomes an a-hole when he puts on the suit and he wants to make it right. Again, like,
what does this refer? Like, I don't know.
Like, just really random.
Yeah, I don't
I'll kind of talk about why I think it happened after. Andrade says they should take a vote, and Hardy agrees, saying Private Party will never vote against him. And
wink, wink.
Andrade and Jose vote no, with a thumbs down. Hardy votes yes with a thumbs up. And Proud and Powerful. I saw the PP. I meant Private Party. They go yes at first, thumbs up, and then they do the thumbs down.
Behind Hardy's back, so you can't see.
Batista in 2005, except this one was stupid. And so Andrade says you only need to watch your back. When he turns, he sees Private Party, and then Andrade attacks him from behind. Hits a boot to Hardy. Darby and Sting come down to assist, and Darby this time keeps up pace with Sting. So that was pretty cool.
Yep.
They get overwhelmed too. The Hardy Boys music hits. Oh my god! And no face paint. Jeff Hardy looking old. Runs down to make the save. Not before.
I want to say dancing. He's my age as well. Let's see.
He makes sure to get some Jeff Hardy dancing in.
Born in the same year as me.
He's old.
Who else did I look up that was born?
AJ Styles.
Right.
Wait. So is AJ Styles the same age as Jeff Hardy?
Yes.
What?
Born in 77, boys.
AJ. No.
Yep.
Jeff Hardy seems way older than
Matt's
AJ Styles.
47 and Edge is 48.
No.
Just because that came up on the same search.
Wow. So Matt hits Blade with a twist of fate. Before that, it was funny. The heels each wait their turn to take offense from Hardy.
Yeah, Butcher's standing there waiting for his chance to get taken out.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Matt hits Blade with a twist of fate, and Jeff hits a swanton bomb. Woo!
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So I am glad the faction is done.
No, Andrade's still probably
now Andrade is saddled with this group of mid-card misfits, right? And I'm not a fan of that at all. Hardy to AEW was obviously no secret, and this is probably hot takes from us too.
You can hear the cat going in the litter box.
Oh, nice. Hopefully our microphones are picking it up.
No, I don't think so.
So I, for one, am not interested in this. It's a tag team that I've seen more than enough in my lifetime. Taking up a spot again. I said it before, right? This is a company that has so many tag teams already, and some of those are struggling to get time. Even like somebody as amazing as FTR can't find time on a pay-per-view with 11 matches.
Now you're bringing in the Hardys.
Right. So there is a chance AEW will use them well. I guess we'll see, but for now, I
don't need to see them in any like really high spots,
no.
And let alone like
they should be putting over people like the Acclaimed and stuff.
Or like even like them and like maybe Private Party because they're like
and Bear County. Just kidding, just kidding. I'm kidding.
Man.
And the Ass Brothers.
Oh man.
Or Ass Boys or whatever they are.
Man, them versus Bear County would be brutal.
For now, I have no interest.
Club, actually.
No interest in a Hardy Boys reunion. I wasn't really a fan of this segment altogether because again, like. I feel like they're just telling us all this stuff that I don't remember seeing and don't really care about because none of these guys are relevant except for Andrade, and he isn't as relevant as I think he needs to be.
He's not feeling very relevant
Agree.
Right now.
So I feel like the whole AHFO thing was really forced, and it was a bad fit, and maybe this is just them pulling shoot on it and getting out of it, but it still leaves Andrade
I think the
stuck
comparison
there.
You can make is Andrade and Malachi Black came in at the same time.
Right.
What have each of
Well,
them
some
been
people
doing?
I
You know what
listen
I
to
mean?
aren't happy with Malachi
I
either.
think Black's been doing pretty sick. I mean, I think he came in hot with the Cody feud. I love House of Black.
And just after watching Andrade in that triple threat match for the for the TNT.
Also, what happened to
that
the
match was nuts.
what
I loved
happened to
it.
the Black Andrade alliance? That was sick as
Yeah.
hell, and
So,
now
yeah,
that's just gone.
I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the much of this going on, and the result doesn't appeal to me. So this was like the low point of the show,
that
probably
was
for
the
me.
cool feud Andrade had. It was the Pac feud, and then that was kind of gone.
Yeah.
I thought this was dumb. The segment itself felt pointless, but also rushed. Like, it was a couple minutes in, they were already like, "Hey, we're gonna vote you out." Like, it was like, I'm obviously I don't want this to be long, but
And
hey, we're having this meeting, and you guys want to vote me out. Oh, you're voting me
and
out.
why is
Like,
Matt Hardy so sure that Private Party would never vote against them? Why are
'cause, like, I
Private
guess
Party
he started with them.
why
Like,
are Private Party so quick to vote against them? Like, I don't know the
yeah,
reason for any of
exactly.
this.
And I know it stemmed from Hardy's loss of the pay per view, but it felt like super random. All this stuff is happening, and we don't really know. Like, it just felt like so rushed, and it felt like really sudden. And like, it's like really weird. Like, all of a sudden now he feels bad for being a greedy dick
Right.
to everyone, and now he wants to change all of a sudden. Like, felt random and rushed babyface turn, so that when Jeff came in, they could do a Hardy Boys reunion. And that brings me to Jeffrey. I do not understand whatsoever why they signed him. I don't understand the need for him or what substantial value he provides. He's not young. He's not a wrestler. He's a sports entertainer. He has very limited
He
moveset.
gets a pop.
And his huge Daredevil days are largely behind him. He can cut a promo about as well as Roderick Strong.
He's brutal.
And he doesn't seem like he'll be wearing face paint. And his character work will see promo work. And he is about as much of a WWE guy as you can get. Like, they have been signing a bunch of people lately, but I can really see the value and talent in guys like Swerve, Keith Lee, and Murphy. I really don't get what Jeff brings to the table. I understand he's still very popular and there's that name value, but I think you get that in guys like Jericho and Punk, who are doing much better and I think have more use than Jeff Hardy, and popular stars who they've made or who are better than Jeff. I don't see the need for him. I sure as hell don't need a Hardy Boys reunion, much less anywhere outside of WWE. Even then, I'd probably still complain, but like, at least it makes more sense there because that's what they do.
Yeah.
I'll be fine, I guess, as long as he isn't taking up important spots. But Hardy Boys better not last here.
Or
They
get a
just need
title
nostalgia
run, right?
at the most, and then they can retire. Like, I swear, if they're anywhere near the title scene, I'm complaining about that.
Yeah, I won't be thrilled either.
Like, they need to they can't be doing much. Like, I really don't get this. Like, and I used to not mind Jeff Hardy, but I've never been huge into him. I missed him. Like, I completely missed on.
It seems like they just basically, hey, Jeff Hardy's a free agent today, and then they rushed to get to this, right? Like, Matt Hardy has a change of heart the day his brother becomes a free agent, right?
Right.
So it's just like, oh, we can officially put him on TV now. What's the fastest way to write our way out of this situation? And it didn't
even
work
better,
for me.
Matt Hardy, like, re-signed his contract to match Jeff's. So.
Oh, great. They're there together.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So great. I'm very happy. Now let's talk about a nice signing. We have a Swerve
guy
interview.
in his prime that's been underused everywhere, right? That's the guys you're signing.
Yep.
Andrade, Malachi, Swerve. Those
Murphy.
make sense to me, right?
Keith Lee.
Those make sense. Although they're not doing
sure.
much with him, but we'll get to that.
Who? Keith Lee or Murphy?
Keith Lee's like.
Yeah.
Anyways,
he's
I'll talk
just
about
starting.
it.
He's just starting. So Swerve will have his in-ring debut on Rampage, and which was last night. Swerve says he's hyped, and Tony Nese cuts him off, saying everyone is hyped and nobody did that for him. Tony Nese says Swerve doesn't have an opponent for Rampage, and since they have a history of wrestling on Friday nights, he says, why don't they do it again? Swerve says he was wondering who would interrupt him first, and of course it was Nese. He says he'll see him on Friday, and it's Swerve's house.
Has Nese wrestled yet?
Yeah, he was on Dark a bunch. He challenged
not on
Guevara for the
Dynamite?
TNT title on Rampage.
Not on Dynamite though, right? I don't remember seeing him. I haven't seen him wrestle in AEW yet.
No.
Pretty sure.
Also, I wish they would call him Shane Strickland with like Shane Swerve Strickland. It seems to be mostly Swerve Strickland, which it's not the worst name. I just don't love that Swerve is like an actual name. You know?
I kind of liked Nese's heel logic about, like, I didn't get this kind of reaction from everybody, right? So that's a simple way to get him involved in this first match. And I don't know, Swerve's really cool, and I think that should be a really good match, actually, right? It's on Rampage.
Yeah,
I might want to check it out.
They are familiar.
That would be tonight?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Right. Yesterday.
Yep.
I forget my days of the week sometimes. I'm
Yep.
old.
Right.
When you're Jeff
yeah.
Hardy's age, and AJ Styles'
I
age,
mean,
it's
and
tough.
I know you're just as much of a daredevil, right? So I mean,
More so, probably.
you've had to take your fair share of
Oh,
damage.
100%. The bumps I've
Yeah,
taken,
yeah.
let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Back in my day.
Yep.
That's how I know the ring apron is the hardest part of the ring. I've experienced it.
Ah.
But anyways, carry on.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a cool segment. And Nisha saw it. I like Swerve. Should be a pretty cool match for Swerve.
Nice's best thing is his in-ring, right? Like his speaking and character stuff are actually better than I thought, but not
Swerve is
amazing.
pretty well rounded.
Yes, Swerve's cool.
And I hope they do flesh out his character more. Like, I mean, I know what he's done, but I don't know like what they're gonna go with here.
Right.
I know like we saw something, but like he's kind of trying to not do the hero thing,
right? Not just fall back into a hip hop guy.
They're doing that on the indies.
Yeah.
So
I think he's trying to distance himself
the
from
best
it.
member.
Right.
So yeah, I'm curious to see what he does, but I mean, he's just starting out. Like I would say the same for Keith Lee. So we'll see. Next, we get a Wardlow in-ring promo. Sonic Champion 2.
Right.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yep.
Oh yeah. What was it? I think someone said like suggested name for the Jericho group was like Inner Circle 2 Electric Boogaloo, and then someone like said add Rick Boogs, and it's Electric Boogaloo. Mm-hmm. They should do Inner Circle 2 Electric Boogaloo. Now that is a good name, and I would buy 2 of that shirt. 1 for me and 1 for the cat.
She loves t-shirts.
Yeah, and electrics and boogaloos.
Yeah.
What is a boogaloo? Is that a thing?
It just was the name of
Breaking 2.
I don't think it was anything.
Yeah, I know. I think it's funny.
Yeah,
so
me too. I use it for everything.
Yeah, I know.
Of course.
Me too. Any 2 is electric boogaloo.
Automatically. It's just my reaction.
And like so my thing is also like if you're going like let's say there's Iron Man 3, right? Isn't that then Iron Man 3 Electric Boogaloo 2 Electric Boogaloo? Because it's the second Electric Boogaloo, which is then Electric Boogaloo.
It's not as fun.
I know, but it's the double. It's twice as electric.
I guess.
Wardlow says they all have to come to a moment in their lives when they have to ask if they'll help and work for someone to accomplish their dreams or choose to accomplish their own. Wardlow says he helped MJF achieve things and fulfill his dreams and got nothing but disrespect out of it. He says he knew MJF was a bad person when he signed for the job, and he apologizes for associating himself with such trash, but he grew up poor and knew he wanted to wrestle because he loved it and knew it would provide him and his family with a better life. And he said MJF got his foot in the door, and he thanks him for that. No matter how much he's paid, it doesn't give MJF the right to disrespect him and his family. He says MJF chose his own fate last week, and he's still under contract, but he doesn't care anymore. He says his actions at Revolution showed he is done watching MJF's back, and he is out of the pinnacle, and he is finally free. He says he hopes MJF is as intelligent as he says he is and will release him. He says he will take the TNT title and obtain a new contract, and when he does, he won't stop with the TNT title, and AEW will be Wardlow's world.
Right. I thought Wardlow did a pretty good job because this is by far his longest promo, right, in AEW. Again, I'm a sucker for it. I like the inclusion of his backstory, whether it's true or not. I always think it sounds true. So maybe, like, here's why I signed with MJF.
I mean, all you really need is that it sounds true, right?
Right. Like, I grew up poor. This was guaranteed money. I took it. I regret it. Whatever. I liked he kicked up the intensity a little bit near the end when he talked about finally being free. I also like that he wants to be done with MJF altogether, right? Like not even have a match against him, just like I want to just go our separate ways because I imagine MJF is not done with him, right? And I think that's an interesting story to tell. Like you can just imagine the arrogant MJF being like, you don't tell me that when I'm done with you, right? I'll tell you when I'm done with you sort of thing. So I imagine that's the route they're going to go and I'm interested to see it. So I thought like, was this a perfect promo? Was he like Eddie Kingston? No, but I thought it was very good for a guy who hasn't really had a chance to do it. So I like this.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same. I think for the first lengthy promo he's done, I think this is pretty good from Ward, though. I like parts of it for sure. I think he did a solid job of turning him face more after he's been kind of gaining popularity and the slow burn for this. I like the family background, giving him more depth, and why last week set him off, aside from MJF being an ass 24/7, I think it's time he got out of the Pinnacle. This also accomplished that. Ceilings will be setting up at least the possibility of no MJF match, which I'd be okay with. But I also like a feud between them with MJF costing Wardlow the TNT title match, especially based on tonight's event. I
Right.
feel like they need to kind of pull off some shenanigans.
Right.
And then like maybe we do get the MJF feud, or like MJF trying to get a match, but then like Wardlow just keeps trying to like distance himself from it until like he just decides to kick MJF's ass.
Right.
Because I don't think Wardlow really needs a title right now.
No.
And
he's over,
and
right?
When we
Without
talked
anything.
about it, we had a new champion. I don't think Sky is holding I don't think AEW is the ones to do like a
if they did plan
a 1
so
week
long,
transitional run. You
like
know what
if
I mean?
they planned it so long ago for him
Especially
to have it, it's probably
too, right?
not.
And like
good.
I don't think they're doing a 1 week transitional champion. Like they're not
Right.
WWE.
And I kind of like this because Wardlow, I think what he's basically saying is, I could take all of your crap, fine, but then you slapped me, and that was it, right? Like that slap seemed to be the catalyst for him to be like, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you could have just held short of actually physically putting your hands on me, maybe I could have kept doing it. But that seemed to be like what pushed him over the edge, and I kind of liked it.
Yeah, same. Next we get Keith Lee interview with QT Marshall there too for some reason.
Because they don't know what to do with Keith Lee. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Lee asks what QT wants, and he welcomes him and sees why they call him Limitless. He says they have seen another common ally in Team Taz, and he and the Factory have Lee's back. He says he has a very large back, says he's good, and QT says he'll pay for this.
Welcome to AEW, where you're going to feud with Team Taz and then the Factory. Like, what is it about this guy, like Keith Lee, that people don't know how to use him?
So then next I'm thinking Gun Club, and we round it out with Offo.
Right. So I don't know what the issue is here, but this is not a strong way to bring a free agent that you kind of told us was a major signing, and then this is what he's doing. I don't know, maybe. And again, it's AEW, so I do have faith that they'll figure something out eventually, but I couldn't care less about Keith Lee.
Rocky start.
AEW Keith Lee, I do not care, right? And that
shouldn't be. That sucks, because I think he has a lot of potential, and I agree. I do trust that they will make it better, because I think he is a pretty can't-miss talent.
Yeah.
And I know he's getting older. I do notice some gray hairs and whatnot, so I think they need to at least do something. Like, I'm not saying they need to give him a title, but I still think they need another title, but like he just needs something decent to do.
It could simply be like you're saying, they book things well in advance, so it might be like, listen, right now we've got all our plans in place. We weren't sure we were going to sign you, so we're just going to sort of put you in a holding pattern until.
Right. Yeah, and he can at least look good in these matches too, right? So
yeah,
I think that might be that. Honestly, would make sense just based on like we were talking about the long-term booking before. And honestly, that's okay, because I feel like. I don't know. I think they'll give him something to do. Again, I think they need some sort of other title.
He's not my favorite guy, but he deserves better than what he's doing right now.
They need some other title, and then, like, I don't know. He just needs, like, a cool feud.
Yep.
At the very least. Or the whatever title thing. So next we get Jurassic Express versus the Acclaim for the tag titles. Fresh off the triple threat defense.
Yep.
So that was good. In a competitive TV tag. There was a body slam by Luchasaurus, and where Jungle Boy, he jumps off the top turnbuckles and like he kind of hits his knees off of Luchasaurus's shoulders.
Then flips into a senton.
Yeah. There's a rebound lariat by Jungle Boy after the commercial break, and hot tag flare by Luchasaurus. He just hit the chokeslam standing moonsault. Love it. Then to Caster, but then Bowens breaks up the pin. Bowens hits that strike combo to Jungle Boy and hits the side slam. And then Caster falls with the mic drop, but Luchasaurus breaks that pin, so that was a pretty cool
near fall
sequence by the Acclaimed. Luchasaurus takes our Caster after an assist from Christian when Caster had a chain. So then they do like Jungle Boy does an escalator and they hit a Doomsday device for the win.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. Again, this was the Luchasaurus I don't find as entertaining as the one that used to just pop the crowd and me every time he came in, so I don't know what is going on. And Jurassic Express are just, they're missing something as champions for me. I don't know what it is. I generally like their matches,
I would say addition by subtraction. Get rid of Christian.
He doesn't really do anything, but there's just, they don't have a lot of personality, right? They're really good in the ring, but other than that, you can't. The one guy's working a dinosaur gimmick, which if you think about it, it's pretty ridiculous. And then Jungle Boy is not very good on the mic at this point. So in the ring, I don't usually have an issue. I mean, I miss old Luchasaurus with all the crazy kicks and stuff. I feel like Just kick people, man. Where are the kicks at?
Yeah, kick them,
I
maybe
don't know
chop
where,
them, punch
but
them, insult them, shooting
right.
star press them.
So I like this, and Acclaimed are, I think, kind of poised to
I
move up a
like
little
that
bit
they
at
at
some
least got
point.
they threw their names out there again, like
Yeah.
in the title scene. Like,
Yep.
I think there's like considering they were doing like these quick because I think it was like Tony Khan was like, because he was impressed with whatever champion after the show. Like I
Mhm.
like that. I think I like that they chose the Acclaim for this spot. Like
Mhm.
that they were doing these and they chose the Acclaim. Like I think that's cool.
So Jurassic Park, good in ring. The rest,
Jurassic Park.
sorry, Jurassic Express.
Jurassic Attack.
The rest is just kind of missing something for me.
For
I don't know
sure.
what it is.
I think it was a solid tag match, solid for TV. Wasn't anything amazing, but I think it was good. Commercial break kind of could offer me again, but other than that, I liked it. I think the Acclaim got some good stuff in while they could. Bones always seems to nail that combo pretty nice.
He's good, man. I think.
Then like that flurry was cool. Luchasaurus hot tag was pretty good. Not as
At least we got the moonsault, which is always nice to see.
That's what I'm like. Like I think we need more kicks, but as long as we get the moonsault, I'm good because that's one of his things.
I wonder if he was like potatoing people or something with his kicks, because that was like part of his really cool
Tail
stuff.
whip was sick.
And now it's just kind of not happening anymore.
Yeah.
But anyways,
never looked like he did, but I mean,
No.
You'd never know, I guess. And yeah, so I liked him going back to that, and I liked some of the kicks, which I love to see.
Yep.
I wish they'd used the Jurassic Express to win instead, but still a solid match.
Yep.
Cargill promo, she asks who's next, and Sterling asks who's left, lists off everyone she's beaten. A-list roster right there.
And something about the kiss of death. Who's next to have the kiss of death? So.
Sterling says she has an open challenge. It's almost at 30 wins. She asks who will step up. She's the kiss of death on TBS, that Biatch show or whatever.
Yep.
This is fine.
Standard Jade stuff, right?
Yeah, it was standard.
She has great attitude.
I think it just sucks that like there's no one like primed to take the spot eventually. Like
No.
I feel like Rosa is primed to take Baker's title eventually, maybe next week. But like I don't think there's like, I mean, maybe it's too soon to think that, but like
I would like Jade to build this up and as a monster, and then Deeb comes in and just like puts on a clinic,
dissects her,
and beats her, and Jade's like realizes she's got some work to do still, right? I don't know, but
yeah,
I don't know when that's gonna happen.
You gotta have a babyface payoff for that, and then like you go Deeb or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Next we have Thunder Rosa versus Layla Hirsch in the women's title eliminator. So winner faces Baker.
Right,
and
and Hirsch is the number 1 ranked. They tell us.
Yeah.
These rankings, man, I don't know. There's a couple things that annoy me.
She did just get a big win, but
AEW, the rankings when they just fluff up their resume on internet shows, and the other thing is when you're having short to medium matches on TV, schedule them around a commercial, right?
Yeah,
like an 8-minute match with a 3-minute commercial break in the middle is not cool. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah, that's one of my things recently.
Yeah, I'm noticing it a lot,
and
right?
I was gonna say like it's not even like we're not getting picture in picture. We do generally get it now, right?
Yeah, it's still just.
But that's
it's not the same.
Yeah, picture in picture, like, you don't get the volume of it.
It's a tiny little screen. There's no volume. It takes me out of it, right? So, I don't know, but whatever.
Yeah, I agree. There were holds and counters early on. Corner clotheslines by Rosa. There was an arm stomp by Hirsch. Basement dropkick and Northern Light suplex for 2 by Rosa. It's weird. She had her set up like Saray did, but then she kind of like, it's like she jumps off her. You know?
Yeah, she's determined to land on her feet, but it makes the drop kick not look as powerful.
It's kind of odd.
Because she's determined to have it like, I drop kick you and land on my feet. Ooh, but like, if the impact is 50% less, why don't you just kick the crap out of her and then stand up? I don't know, but anyways, that's just me.
There's like the Miz clothesline in the corner, but Hirsch counters that swinging double knees in the corner and hits a German suplex for 2. Superplex by Thunder Rosa followed by the tiebreaker, which I only call it that because of Ty Dillinger.
Yeah.
It's like we have him in the fireman's carry, you swing him out into a facebuster on the knee.
Right.
Austin Theory currently uses it, I believe. And then Rosa does hit the Fire Thunder Driver for the win. And Shivani says, he's talking from the announce table. He has a mic. He says, almost been a year since the Lights Out match, and she has another shot Baker next week, which will be a steel cage match for obvious reasons.
In Rosa's hometown. So I'm thinking title change.
No.
It's not WWE. They don't bury them in their hometown.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
And then we cut to Baker and company backstage. She said she beat Rosa at the pay-per-view, and Rosa gets another shot instead of going to the back of the line. Baker says hi to Red Velvet and asks where Martinez is. She's fighting Jamie Hayter on Rampage. and it won't
Nice.
matter next week. She says she isn't afraid of Rosa or the cage, even though Rosa won the lights out match. She was the real winner coming out. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And she signs off the DMD. Technically, Baker's 2-0 in this feud, technically speaking.
Right, because the other one does not count.
Mm-hmm.
Lights were out.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't love the decision to have Hirsch lose so quickly and decisively.
Why wasn't the cage match at the pay-per-view?
I don't know. After
honestly,
she gets her biggest win at Revolution, right? Finally gains some momentum and then loses on the next week's show. So I didn't love that, but I guess it's mostly to further the angle with Red Velvet, which I'm also not super interested in. But I still feel like somebody else could have been fed to Rosa here, and you could have progressed the other angle somewhere else. But the match was fine. There was a little bit of sloppiness.
Well, Layla Hirsch was ranked number 1, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, I think they could just avoid this whole thing, and whoever's ranked number 5, give them this. I'm gonna Google that quick.
There was a little bit of sloppiness, which seems to be in Hirsch's matches quite a bit. Despite I really like her because I think she's just kind of different, but she needs to clean some things up probably. And I guess Hirsch is facing Red Velvet at some point. Don't really care.
Why don't you just give it to Red Velvet, honestly, like number 5?
It also feels really quick to have Baker and Rosa face off again, because I've been saying it forever, right? This is the money women's match, and there should be a major build and lots of drama, and I don't really think there has been. And it feels like the title change has to happen next week, right? How many times can Rosa fall short?
Especially in a cage match. Like, I feel like this is like the... Yeah, I feel like they should have just made a stronger build to the pay-per-view, which they're totally capable of, and then you have a cage match at the pay-per-view.
I just really wanted this to feel like the culmination of a bitter feud, and I'm not feeling that, right? Based off of, because it's kind of like this feud peaked with the dark match, right? The whatever lights out match. Because it's kind of hasn't gotten back to that level or close for me yet, and I want it to, but I'm hoping that whatever the match is next week
I think they'll decide the match next week could
hopefully
get there, get to those heights, maybe literally.
Yeah,
because cage.
Right.
I thought it was a solid match again, but again hurt by the commercial break. I think a little sloppy on Hirsch's end and whatnot, but I think for what we got, it was solid. Just wish they got more time because they're both pretty good. The match next week should be great, but the build is getting rushed. But this match was okay. Then we come to our main event, which is Sammy Guevara, Scorpio Sky for the TNT title. 3 title matches on the show, actually. It's a pretty stacked show, at least in matches. There's back and forth with a lot of limb targeting, like a lot of midsection targeting.
Yes, because Sammy was taped up from
the trios match.
Right.
Guevara rams Sky into the barricade a couple times and then stairs after he pulls at a table.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, there was a little trouble.
What?
With the barricade.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Scorpio Sky. Like, Sammy was looking to run him into the barrier further away, and Sky thought he was running him into the one right beside them. So basically, it's like, it almost looked like Sky kind of dove into the barricade, and Sammy kept moving forward.
He carried through the motion.
He was expecting to still have Sky with him. But I mean, to save it, Scorpio did hit the barricade pretty hard. It just clearly wasn't what Sammy... They weren't on the same page there. It was just kind of funny. Yeah, it was.
There was like a really crisp super kick on the outside by Guevara after he avoids a TKO.
You loved it.
You really nailed it.
Yep.
Guevara misses at 6:30 outside and through the table.
Crazy. That guy's nuts, man. Like, that table just exploded. It looked awful. There's no good way to take that.
Yeah, for sure. Repeated midsection knees by Sky, and then he throws Guevara out of the ring. Multiple punch and backbreakers by Sky. Very many. Roll up for 2 and then chops by Guevara. Springboard cutter by Guevara for 2. He counters a TKO and hits a super kick and a GTH, but Sky rolls out of the ring. Guevara's like distracted by Conti and Paige Van Zandt arguing, and Sky nails a TKO for the shock win.
Yeah, I was quite surprised here. Lots of Tay Conti coming down to check on Guevara too after going through the table, right?
And then Guevara and Conti get laid out, and Van Zandt signs her AEW contract. Yay!
On Tay Conti's butt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yay.
So I like the story here that basically Sammy's super high risk offense and how he always talks about how or makes this gesture, right? Like he's crazy. That actually ended up costing him the match, essentially, because going through that table, right, was kind of the turning point. And I like, because Scorpio Sky's talented enough veteran to effectively target Sammy's back. Like, some of those backbreakers he was hitting looked really good, so I like that. I was not expecting the title change. And it would have been nice to see Sky wrestle on TV ahead of this, because remember that he hadn't lost a singles match in 364 days, and I told you that he literally
That's almost a year.
Not one of those was on Dynamite, though. That's right. So people who only watch Dynamite, like us mostly, I mean, we dabble in Rampage, but Like, we haven't seen Sky win a singles match. So this whole, like, it's the belt against the streak. Well, the streak is kind of meaningless when I've never seen the kid win a singles match. But anyways, looks like we're getting this mixed tag, right, with Sammy and Conti versus Van Sant and whoever, her husband or Paige.
Or one of the men of the year guys, I guess.
Could be.
No. Dan Lambert, of course.
So I'm just annoyed because Van Sant will come and take TV time away from a women's division that's already, I talk about it all the time, struggling to get on TV enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for Scorpio
also, with
Sky.
the Deep Sheeta thing kind of got revitalized the other week. Like that, we should be getting that payoff.
Right. I'm happy for Sky because he's a veteran. He's been around forever. I've seen him all over the place.
Yeah,
and he's
they
good.
said the first guy to hold a tag title and the TNT title.
So I fear that he might get taken out by Wardlow, but I think it makes sense for him to get screwed over by MJF.
Yeah, this is
right?
good because I was lobbying for one of the men of the year guys to take the title before, right? So I guess I did get what I want here. Personally, I might have preferred Paige a little more, but I think Sky's good. Honestly, he's a little underrated. Like, he's not the best or anything, but I think he's kind of underrated. I like him. I thought this was pretty good. It's nice to see Sky after a while. Like you said, it does kind of suck he hasn't been doing much. Like, even if he just gets a few Rampage matches in, you know what I mean? Like, something like that. Feels like him and Paige haven't been on TV in ages, especially if we're not talking about American Top Team. Like, when's the last time they were doing something not with American Top Team?
It's been a long time.
Even here, Lambert and Van Dam were still here. Like, this is the chance that, like, you kind of read them. Like, honestly. Guevara's injured midsection at least gave you a story throughout the match, which it's basic, but it's something there, right?
It works, yeah.
And while I could have done without the Van Sant stuff, I think it's good that Sky got the win, regardless of the finish and the title, because I think he'll make a good TNT champion. I hope he sells the 2 belts. I just think it's funny.
I hope not. I think that's been too long now. Like, it was funny for a bit, but, like, how many months do we have 2 belts that are exactly the same?
Forever.
No.
Some may say he will transition to Wardlow, but I don't think AEW will make a title change just for a week. Like, that's just not what they do.
And Wardlow doesn't need the title, right?
Exactly,
He's super over already.
And I think MJF will get involved next week. Like you said, MJF won't be done with him, and Wardlow will be.
Yep.
But cool result nonetheless. Surprised to be sure, but a welcome one. Star Wars reference.
Nice. Overall, like, looking back as I was scrolling through my notes, right? Really nothing special in terms of matches. Basically, every match on this card had an upper card performer taking on a significantly lower card, right? So the outcome was easily predictable in everything other than the main event. And none of the in-ring work I thought was, like, really standout. So I enjoyed the main event the most. That would be my match of the night. But even that was a notch or 2 below Dynamite's top main event matches. And the rest were, like, enhancement or almost enhancement, right? Which is strange for an episode of Dynamite, I think. Some of the segments were better. Jericho's part with Kingston I thought was awesome. Regal's promo was awesome. Wardlow did a really good job in his first lengthy solo promo. And then everything else was pretty non-offensive, except I really didn't care for the AFO segment, obviously. And the Jeff Hardy debut didn't do anything for me personally. Does not move the needle, as they say. So I don't think it was a bad show, but it's definitely not on my short list of favorite Dynamite episodes. I don't think it was bad. I was entertained for most of it, but it's only getting a B- for me this week. Just the in-ring stuff, right? When you look back, it was like good person against kind of nobody. Good person against nobody, right? So a little
I just
off
saw
there.
something from SmackDown. It's really bad news.
What's that?
So you thought Gunther was bad, right?
Yeah.
So
well, the name's bad. Gunther's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's
Gunther.
Sheamus and Ridge Holland won a tag match with Butch by their side.
Who's Butch?
Pete Dunne.
Oh no, R.I.P. Pete Dunne. That makes me sad.
Yeah,
That's awful. I hate WWE. I hate you.
I
don't use that word often. I hate that company.
He just killed off Pete Dunne.
Oh my God, Butch.
They just ruined Pete Dunne.
Stupid.
They literally just murdered Pete Dunne.
Yep.
That's like, that almost made me cry. That was like actually the
stupid.
sad. And I thought Gunther was the worst I've ever seen, but this is worse.
And so what you're saying is that you are admitting that nobody watches NXT, right? Like, they're like, nobody watches that. We can just pretend he's a new dude. Like, so anyways, what'd you think of Dynamite?
That just killed me.
That sucks.
Wow. Yeah, but I think it was I think it was a solid show. I liked the opening segment. A decent amount. I mean, I don't really care about Jazz, but I think the promo itself was a good segment. I liked Hangman Dante Martin, Mox, and Danielson versus Asher Hale and JD Drake was pretty solid. I like that Dark Order segment. Pac Wheeler Yuta was cool but quick. Undisputed Era Buck segment was good. FTR was solid. The AFO did not like. Swerve was solid. Wardlow was pretty good actually. Keith Lee was fine. The tag title match was solid. The women's match was okay, and the main event was solid. I think generally a pretty good show, but nothing like amazing. I'd say I think it was pretty good though, so I'd give it like a low B plus.
Fair enough.
And I'm just still really sad.
Right.
I can't believe that.
I know it sucks,
Yeah.
but that wraps up our Dynamite review. We're gonna move into any other wrestling business. I think it's just me ripping through NXT this week before we move into figuring it out. But until then, this segment is what we call any other wrestling business. All right, so NXT, did you watch any of it this week? I can't remember if you were in the neighborhood. Last week I made a note that you did. This week I did not.
I don't think so.
Were you not there for Lashing Out at all?
Oh,
Maybe.
No, I wasn't, but I should have been.
Segment of the year. You should have been. Anyways, let's get through this. The show started with a hype package for the main event for the NXT Championship match, the Triple Threat with Ziggler, Braun, and Ciampa. Quick little package there. Then we start off with a Dusty Cup semi-final match, which is Raquel Gonzalez, Cora Jade taking on Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. So Wendy Chu falls asleep as Jade goes to tag out early on in this, and the only reason I made a note of this is because commentary start whispering on commentary to not wake up Wendy Chu. And I write, so my note is, commentary start whispering to not wake up Chu, brackets, I hate this. Airplane spin by Gonzalez into an awkward slam of Chu. I think she wanted to turn it into a side slam, but it was a little bit sloppy, and it's like Chu slipped out of her grip before. Anyways, doesn't matter. Great news, though. Toxic Lounge is still there, and just to make it even better, they've added topless male servers in the little group. But I think when they show this, it's only Mandy Rose, and the other two are conspicuous by their absence, as they would say. So Kai and Chu suddenly, even though they've only had one match together, and they don't even talk to each other because Kai is too busy talking to her imaginary friend, they suddenly exhibit lots of teamwork and some tandem moves. But then we find out where the rest of Toxic Attraction were. They attack Raquel Gonzalez's leg as she's outside the ring yelling at Dakota Kai. Jade then whiffs on an Insecurity because she has to. I hear people talking about her being the future and stuff, and every match I watch, she misses stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Anyways, hot tag to the injured Gonzalez. Dakota Kai breaks down and talks to herself instead of hitting her running boot in the corner to Gonzalez. It's like she's having issues executing it on Gonzalez, but she finally does. Kai and Chu win in 14 minutes with the reverse splash of Chu followed by the top rope double stomp, or stimp as my notes say, by Kai to win the match. This got a lot of time. I think it might be longer than the previous matches in this tournament combined. I thought it was just okay. Some of the action was fine, but the characters of Chu and Kai just take away from the action. I don't want to see somebody just doing sleep gimmicks and comedy throughout the first half of the match. I don't need Dakota Kai like glitching out and talking to herself, and I don't know. It just feels silly to me, and it's not what I want in wrestling. This match just kind of existed. It didn't really feel like a strong start to the show, and it got quite a bit of time. Tommaso Ciampa is ready to become a 3-time NXT champion. He says he respects Braun, wants to take out Ziggler, and the match means more than the title. He will enter, stand, and deliver as the main event, etc., etc., etc. So this was the usual intense Ciampa promo where I think he even flings the chair before he walks out. Generic content, but fine, intense delivery. Creed Brothers. As you know, the parking lot, right? Why would you even go in the parking lot? Like, I would get dropped off at the door.
Yeah,
and run in.
And like if you're gonna go through the parking lot, have luggage, okay?
Right.
You can't survive with a luggage or a vehicle. Like, you need something, but they clearly are not smart. Rookies, am I right?
Right. Well, I guess that's the reason. They got taken out in the parking lot, and the rest of Diamond Mine and security show up to sort of check on them and help. Then we get Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. They're backstage, upset about their loss, as Gonzalez's legs being checked on by medical staff. Then we get Tiffany Stratton taking on Fallon Henley. Yikes. Actually, in this, there was an impressive, I think it was a cross-body attempt by Henley, So Stratton does the move where she catches her, right? Shifts her up onto a fireman's carry and then a Samoan drop. So a pretty impressive show of strength by Stratton, I have to say. Then then there's random smoke appears on the ramp. And everybody, the ref, both competitors are distracted. Saray sneaks in and lands an incredibly weak, I think it was supposed to be a knee to Stratton, who's sitting against the ropes looking at the smoke, but it did not really make much impact at all. But it's followed up by a Shining Wizard by Henley, and she gets the surprise win in about 3 minutes as Jensen and Briggs show up to carry her out on their shoulders. So Fallon Henley picks up a win. The Stratton and Saray angle will continue. Awesome. Good stuff.
That's fun.
It was
wait, what do you mean? Oh, it was the necklace versus necklace.
That's right. So this was more about the angle with
eye for an eye, necklace for a necklace.
I think it was more about that than the match. And they basically botched that angle, I think, because Saray's attack looked like it barely made any impact. And why can't there just be more actual wrestling shows? Why does everything have to be a vehicle to an angle, right? Like, wrestling for the sake of wrestling is fine and is what some people want to see. But anyways, what do I know? We get a Chase U segment where he's blaming his latest loss on the people that held the banner for him to run through during his entrance. He praises Bodie for taking one for the team because remember, he took a punch there at ringside. And we see that Bodie has like a comically bruised, infected looking eye. So another student suggests that Bodie should have his eye checked out. And guess what? Chase snaps, swears at him, throws a basketball at him. So this is still the exact same joke since week 1 when we thought it was okay, right? Like, okay, this is something. Same joke every time with just a slightly different setup. It reminds me of when you and or your brother were like toddlers and you keep telling the same joke over and over because you think it's hilarious, and your parents being the lovely people that we are, we keep acting like it's funny, right? Even though it's not after the third time.
Yeah.
So that's what these segments are pretty much like painful because it's just the same thing.
Except it's all adults and no one thinks it's funny.
Right. It's just week in and week out, nothing ever changes. Chase continues to lose every match as well. So anyways, Mello and Trick are back in the barbershop, which I like because I thought it was really good the first time. So Trick starts out by listing all the people that have challenged Hayes and lost to this point. Then there's a bunch of basketball references. Mello announces that has made some golden rules, but I really feel like he didn't tell us what they were, if I remember. Anyways, he's ready for the ladder match at Stand and Deliver, and they decide that 4 opponents is the right number and that they should all have to qualify. So this is going to lead to...
Ooh, Biggie has a broken neck.
Wow. This is going to lead to qualifying matches for who's in this tournament. So Mello says he will win and deliver the performance of a lifetime to prove that he is the best North American champion ever. I'm waiting for you to take exception to that.
Oh, Swerve. Wait, no, Adam Cole.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, Adam Cole, baby.
So I've enjoyed both of the segments in the barbershop. I think it's a cool little location. Pardon?
Who does the barbershop?
What do you mean?
Or is it just a random barbershop?
Just a random barbershop.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
just like they're actually there to get haircuts and they're just chatting with people that are there, right? So Mello comes across really natural, I think. Trick was ramped up a little bit here. It was close to annoying, but still wasn't bad. He's better for me when he's a bit subdued, but I like this segment compared to most things on this show. Then we get Lashing Out. Speaking of segments compared to things.
Oh, yes.
It's Nikita Lyons. She is the guest since she wants to talk about it, is what Lash tells us. So Lash implies, because these are adults, right? So Lash implies that Lyons' mother was promiscuous. Basically, like you said, your dad's was a rock star and your mom was a groupie. Was she your dad's groupie or was she like everybody? You know what I mean? Like that kind of idea. So Lyons then defends her mother, suggests that Lash is too judgmental. Lash stands up and gets mad, gets in Lyons' face a bit, and then, because this is what adults do as well, accuses Nikita Lyons of having butt implants.
I mean, like, okay, I'm not going to say it's a false accusation, but, like, also, like, I mean, wow, sick burn?
I guess. Lyons denies it, says she's all natural, whatever. They argue, get into each other's faces, and the segment, my notes say, as the segment mercifully ends. So, yeah, another painful juvenile segment. Your mom's a hoe and you have a fake butt was basically what this was, right? So, again, there's 12-year-olds backstage writing out this script, I think. Nobody came out looking good, and if it leads to a match, wow.
Oh, man, I don't want to see that.
Legend is awful.
And
And
Lyons
Nikita
isn't
Lyons
much
did
better.
not look good. So that
Yeah,
could be.
I think I
That's appointment TV.
I think I am obligated to see that.
Yeah, I'm
If
sure.
they do that, I think I am. I think I have an obligation to see that.
At this point, if no one gets hurt, then that's a success. I think if
Yeah,
no
I
one
think
gets legit
the
hurt.
match is a success if everyone turns out fine, even if the match sucks.
Right. Imperiums are talking to Mackenzie backstage. Obviously, they're the main suspects in attacking the Creeds, but they say they would never do anything to dishonor the sport, and it's a shame that the Creeds got attacked ahead of their match against Imperium tonight. MSK interrupt and say that they know what Imperium is doing and that it won't work. They'll take the Creed shot if the Creeds can't go. A fine interaction between these teams. I prefer MSK not trying to be funny, so this is kind of more the role I prefer them in, just trying to be normal a little bit. So I guess the idea is they assume that Imperium attacked them. I kind of feel like it's going to be MSK that did it, but anyways, we'll see. Because they keep getting booed by this crowd anyways, so...
No, but remember, wasn't that because of the Izzy parents?
Yeah, but reason? I mean, they're getting booed every week, right? So somehow
they
might...
That's weird.
They're still getting... You still hear boos when they are out.
Really? That's so weird.
It's NXT Junior High time as we get Briggs and Jensen, your favorite. They're celebrating with Fallon Henry when Legato come in because she won the match. She beat Stratton.
But she's their person.
Right, she was the bartender. Oh my God,
it's them versus Legato.
She was the bartender that explained that he's friend zoned. Right?
That's gross.
So Brooks and Jensen accused Legato of attacking the Creeds, but I like Legato's response, which is basically like, if we attack them, everybody would know. Like, they wouldn't do it secretly. They just don't care, which I thought was a appropriate response. Lopez, Electra Lopez, basically mocks Jensen for never having been with a woman, and then Legato leave. Henley then asks Brooks and Jensen if they attack the Creeds, and Briggs says, of course not. So, I mean, was this good? No, but was it as bad as the normal Brooks and Jensen segments? Probably not.
Plot twist, the Creeds beat up each other because they're brothers.
They attacked each other at the same time and took each other out.
Yes.
Right?
In the parking lot, because the parking lot makes people do crazy things, all right? It's an unpredictable place.
So it is. I guess NXT is trying to give us a little bit of a mystery as to who attacked the Creeds, so I appreciate the effort.
I remember the Aleister Black one was cool. Remember? That was the first instance of parking lot dangerous.
I'm kind of a sucker for those stories, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of suspense. But this did not feel like adults interacting again. So we get one of the longest feuds we've had, which is LA Knight versus Grayson Waller in a last man standing match.
That's been at least since Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, long. So Knight attacks Waller as Waller's making his entrance. The crowd are actually like into this right off the bat, and not just the piped in crowd, but I think the actual crowd are into it.
Yeah, Waller garners heat.
He does. You get an early roll through cutter by Waller. Knight does the move where he suddenly like runs up the ropes for a superplex that I think looks pretty cool. He follows it with the BFT. Then we get the trash cans get used, chairs get used. Actually, Waller ends up in a trash can, just getting worn out by chair shots. It looked pretty good.
You know, I saw in 2Ks they have a stop sign in there now, which I thought was kind of cool.
Nice.
And hockey stick.
That's the ECW stuff.
That's new. Like they have, I don't think I've ever seen that in games before.
They fight onto some scaffolding, and Waller falls off, but we don't see the landing. It's just like
I saw that,
like the Mysterio Royal Rumble thing. It was kind of dumb, right? Where he just falls and you don't see him.
Or was that? Do you mean like when he got thrown off the roof?
Yeah. What was
Money
that?
in the Bank.
Sorry, Money in the Bank. Right. So then Knight ends up. Oh, sorry. Sanga carries Waller back to the ring and chokeslams Knight on the apron.
Pad.
So
Knight
ends up handcuffing Sanga to the ring post to sort of immobilize him. We get a quick update on the Creeds. They won't compete against tonight, and MXK will take their spot against Imperium. Waller is then dropped out of the ring through a table at ringside. Knight puts a trash can over Waller, wears him out with a chair, takes out Sanga with a chair. Waller hits a top rope elbow drop, you know, the one where he goes between the legs with like he's a basketballer.
Through the announce table?
Yeah, through the announce table, looked pretty good. Knight can't beat the count as Waller uses Sanga to sort of climb to his feet, and Waller wins this match after 16 minutes. I was pretty entertained by this. Like, it's a WWE hardcore match, so it's going to be what it is, right? They're never going to go too crazy, but I thought it wasn't anything special, but it moved quickly, held my interest. Really lengthy feud. I could see Knight kind of leaving now, maybe going up after this, because I think the feud's over and Waller has dominated the feud. And Waller's one of the new talents that I actually like. An acceptable weapons match, nothing really innovative or crazy, but definitely a pretty fun watch. So Braun Breaker talks about Ciampa and Ziggler having all the experience, whereas he just shows up and busts his butt to work hard every day to keep the championship. He'll run right through that roadblock tonight. Fine, kind of generic promo. He's doing the whole "I work harder than everybody" gimmick. It makes sense for him, I guess. So yeah, it was fine. Tony D'Angelo is eating in his cousin's Italian restaurant, being as stereotypical as possible.
Yes.
He does his mobster stuff to convince the owner. I was a bit confused because he says his cousin's restaurant, but then he had to be like mobster guy to convince the owner to stay. So I don't know if he's saying his cousin just works there. Anyways, who cares? Too much thought put into this. He wants to become the new Don of NXT because Don is like the head mobster guy. So you got to just lean into this stereotype. So you guys that listen regularly know how I feel about this character at this point. He's back to leaning into the stereotypical Italian mobster, and it's still awful. Next semifinal in the Dusty Cup, it's Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai taking on Caden Carter, Casey Catanzaro. So again, we're shown the Toxic Lounge. This kind of made me laugh. I told you that they now have topless servers there. So they've been replaced by Anafe and Blade are now being the topless servers because they want to get close to Mandy Rose, right? That's been kind of their thing. So that kind of made me laugh. But again, it's all like romance, right? It's all just like, it's like teenagers basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hormone overload on NXT. So Carter and Catanzaro have a nice sequence. They're kind of flying all over the ring, take Kaylee Ray and Io out on the floor heading into a commercial. Commentary point out that Carter and Catanzaro are the only actual tag team left in the tournament. Interesting.
Wait, they pointed that out?
Yes. Like everybody else, we just threw them together. No, they actually said they're the only actual tag team left. That's why I made a note. I thought it was pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
Exposing the business.
Yeah.
Catanzaro hits a reverse Rana to Kaylee Ray off of Carter's shoulders. It looked like Kaylee Ray landed right on her head. It was a little bit scary, but she seemed to be okay. So a cool move. Not too sure Carter and Catanzaro are ready for that, but they did it, and it looked scary. Anyways, KLR bomb, and then an EO moonsault. They're doing the whole, like, you do your finisher, I'll do mine for the super tag team. So they win after 11 minutes. This was by far the best match of this tournament. Really fast-paced match. I thought it was pretty fun sprint. So Catanzaro and Carter are hit and miss for me. Remember, I loved one of their matches.
Against Kai Gonzalez. I
Right.
remember that one was good.
It was good. And I thought this one was good this week as well. I enjoyed this match more than anything else in the tournament, as I said. The tournament has strangely been about makeshift teams beating established teams. And I think that's just revealing how they feel about tag teams, right? Like tag team experience, cohesiveness means nothing. If you put two good people together, they'll beat a good tag team, which I do not like. But anyways, that's not a philosophy I appreciate, right? Just respect it. It's slightly different, and some people are better in tag teams than individuals, right? So Cora Jade now is attacking Mandy Rose in the Toxic Lounge, I guess, as payback for Toxic Attraction taking out Gonzalez earlier. So Gonzalez and Jade seem like they're buddies officially now.
Aw, friends forever.
Indy, or as my notes say, Inid, is watching is watching a replay of her and Persia's loss as Persia walks in with Duke Hudson and starts talking about what a great weekend they had. I
want to call him Hook Dudson because I think Hook is funny.
Indy questions Persia's commitment.
In Dud.
Persia, or Paris, as mine says. Some good typing going on here.
What, Inid and
Paris. Peris.
Okay, so Inid and Paris. Nice.
Persia says she carried the team, and she and Indy argue about who is better. Duke tries to speak, Indy shuts him down, and the women decide to have a match to see who's better. Persia...
What happened to, like, them being randomly introduced as best friends? That just means nothing now?
No, nothing. So Indy walks out, and Persia and Duke aggressively make out to end the segment.
I've seen that clip multiple times, which not even my fault because it popped up on my feed from Duke Hudson and also from NXT.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
Great stuff. So yet another storyline I couldn't care less about, likely because I'm not an adolescent or a teenager.
I am, and I still don't care.
But you're more mature than the average 14-year-old, I think. Anyways, Tiffany talks to, I guess that would be Stratton, talks to Mackenzie and says she was only trying to help Saray with her fashion.
I was thinking ECW general manager Tiffany.
And she says nobody says no to Tiffany, and she's going to break Saray's face. So fine.
I thought she was going to say necklace.
I actually think Tiffany Stratton may have potential. It's too bad. That's not nice. My notes are, I think Stratton may have potential, ... Too bad the people writing for her don't. Tough but fair, I feel like. So we get the sort of impromptu tag team match, which is MSK taking on Imperium. And I hadn't heard at this point, my notes were like, were they actually injured? Why were they pulled from the match? But it appears it's just storyline. So Barrett suggests
Which is kind of odd.
Barrett suggests, and I kind of like it, that MSK are the only ones that really benefited from the Creeds being taken out, right? Which is kind of what I was thinking too. MSK dominate until Eichner catches Lee and throws him against the ropes. Imperium then control Carter for a while, leading to a Lee hot tag. But the Creeds show up and attack everyone, and the match ends in a DQ. For who was my question, because they kind of beat everybody, right? So it was more like a no contest to me. But so 5.5 minutes. It was honestly a pretty good half of a match. But again, it was more about the angle at the end, because matches can't just be for matches. They have to be for some sort of angle.
Always.
On this program. Draco Anthony's working out. He notices Harland is just kind of standing there watching him. Gacy gives Draco the usual spiel, trying to get Draco to sort of join them. But long forgotten, Zion Quinn comes to Anthony's defense.
I actually did forget.
Say that Draco is his own man, and Gacy wants Anthony to think more about his offer. I don't know. I thought this was fine. It's what Gacy has been doing for a while.
I like that they at least, like, it was stupid when it lasted, but at least they didn't, like, go full on with him and Lopez.
No, they didn't. It's kind of like now clearly he's doing something else. So we get the announcement and a little vignette that A-Kid is coming to NXT. Jacket time, we're watching the hype.
I'm wondering if it'll be like a Dragunov or if it's like he's coming.
I don't think so. My instincts are he's not coming to stay, but I don't know.
They might need a new European guy now that Butch is gone.
And who can he fall in love with? Because it's all about a love angle.
I'm trying to think of, do they have anyone
Saray,
UK?
Kaylee Ray.
Oh, Kaylee Ray. There we go.
There it is.
There it is.
Because people from similar cultures have to be together, right?
Exactly.
You couldn't actually mix. Because like Duke and Persia are both Australian, I think,
right? Oh.
Because you cannot mix. So Jacket time, we're watching the hype video. They're excited A-Kid's coming, and I am. A-Kid is cool.
He just does not fit.
My notes are making me, I'm amusing myself. A-Kid is pretty cool, but NXT is not. So I'm not super happy for him, TBH. Main event. Breakker, Ciampa, Ziggler for the NXT Championship. Ziggler rolls out early to let the other two start, but then he's pretty much right back in, so he didn't really take too much advantage.
Because he's an idiot.
Breakker awkwardly suplexes both guys at the same time. Like they landed, like Ziggler landed first and not.
Well, who did that the one time and it looked bad? Remember Cross? That's who it was.
This
Cross did that once.
Breakker's pushed off.
Oh, it was Birch and Lorcan. Didn't he injure one of them? Remember?
He did.
Because remember
Birch, right?
Him and Balor were teaming against them for some reason. Yeah, and then that's why they vacated the titles, which is how MSK won them. Right, yeah.
R.I.P. Lorcan and Birch.
They're in the new 2K. I think I saw their tag entrance,
nice.
So that's good for them.
Because 40% of the people in there are released, basically, is what I saw, I think.
I think a bunch of them at least.
Breakker's pushed off the top to the floor, allowing Ziggler and Ciampa to face off for a bit. Ciampa takes, or Campa, as of my spelling. Got some good typing going on this week.
These are really funny.
Campa takes out both men, then sits on the apron to pat himself on the back, which is now one of his like signature spots. Steiner recliner to Ciampa, sleeper to Breakker by Ziggler at the same time. Famouser and zigzag to Ciampa for a near fall. I honestly thought that might have been it right there. Then we get an odd spot. Oh, I showed you this. Where Ciampa hits the Project Ciampa, which is Project Champs in my notes today. As Breakker just, my notes were as Breakker just crawls out of the ring, and it says like I don't think he was supposed to be in the ring for the near fall.
He just like ran like around them and just like dove.
In hindsight, I think he was supposed to spear Ciampa.
Yeah, but then I don't know what the hell he did.
No,
like
it
was
either.
So weird.
He just kind of goes on his belly, almost like military crawling out of the ring.
No, but like he kind of like ran in and then like just dove.
Yeah,
nowhere.
It was bizarre. And then it looks like it was supposed to be a spear attempt because they kind of take to it, I think, this time. Ciampa, right after he's going for the fairy tale ending, and Breakker does spear him. So I think that was the original plan, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Breakker fights off the zigzag, spears Ziggler, gorilla press power slam, but Bobby Roode pulls the referee out of the ring. We get the Willow's Bell and a fairy tale ending, but Ziggler steals the cover for a pretty believable near fall there. Roode pulls Breakker out of the ring. Ziggler lands.
You get to see his butt for a second.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, you get like a quick moon.
Nice. Ziggler lands one more super kick to Ciampa for the win
ultimate finisher.
in 12.5 minutes. So Honestly, a fine television triple threat, a decent NXT main event with several believable near falls, I thought. The final few minutes were pretty chaotic and fun. Ziggler winning was a little bit surprising, but I would be shocked if Breakker doesn't win the title back at Stand and Deliver. It's the babyface chasing the title is generally a better story and more interesting, so I get that decision even though I don't. Again, it's, hey, this perennial loser on main roster is coming down to NXT, and now he's taking the title. I mean, it's mitigated somewhat by the fact that Rude got involved multiple times, but at the end of the day, I do think it was a good main event for NXT for sure. Overall, another lackluster episode despite some decent in-ring work. The writing is just so bad, it's hard for this brand to overcome it. Almost no storylines are remotely interesting. More than one are annoying, if not maddening for me at least. The Waller night match, the main event, and one of the Dusty Cup matches with Catanzaro and Carter, I thought were good enough to pass this episode.
And they just lost one of their best soldiers.
They did. Butch?
Yeah.
And almost all other segments and stories continue to drag this brand down. So this week, Chase U, dumb. Lashing Out, dumb. Briggs and Jensen, dumb. Tony D'Angelo, dumb. All of those things this week.
Whoa, are you forgetting Purvis and Inid?
That too, dumb, right? So, on the strength of kind of the in-ring, right? Because I kind of like 3 matches on the show. I can give it a C, but it was still a bit of a chore to watch. Like, I would just say,
can't see me watching
read a review you trust, listen to a review you trust. Hopefully that's us, and then cherry pick the show. Like, do not sit down and watch 2 hours of NXT. At this point, unless you are, if you love main roster, then sure, because this is main roster with crappier talent, right? So if you're a main roster person, then otherwise do not sit down.
So mean, but it's right.
It's true.
No, it's definitely right.
Do not sit down and watch the show. Let me do it for you and tell you about it every week. I'd be more than happy to save you this agony.
Less of us should suffer.
Right. I think that's it for any other wrestling business. I didn't get to Impact or anything. I'll probably watch that tonight or this weekend. But I wouldn't be surprised if we've got a beefier segment next week because we have the week off, so we can watch stuff.
I think I have to watch that segment from SmackDown because, oh my God, why did they do that to Pete Dunne?
Right.
I'm never gonna let that go. It's
really bad.
That's worse than Gunther. Pete Dunne's my
Butch
boy.
And Gunther.
Pete Dunne was the best of them left. Okay, he was the coolest boy left.
My Pete Dunne shirt is moot.
Aw, yeah, and
it's all right.
Now I have to play as Butch in 2K.
R.I.P. Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
So that's going to bring us to the end of that, and we'll finish up with our final segment as usual, where Jack's going to hit us with an update from the world of wrestling figures, and that's what we call Figuring It Out with Jack.
So in a couple of figures that went up, I'm sure that's very exciting that the Elite 88 Collector's Edition
Butch?
The Zodiac.
Oh my God.
The Zodiac is up. And then also available on Ringside now is Elite 90 Collector's Edition, I think. Or no, sorry, Elite 89 Collector's Edition, The Goon. If you want to get a figure of The Goon.
Should have been Chris Jericho.
You could probably oh my God, I just want someone to head swap this with Chris Jericho's head on it. I think that would be so funny.
You could.
That would be hilarious. Please, someone do that.
I think the story is he turned it down, right? Which is pretty smart.
That would be hilarious. I really want someone to do that. I think that would be really funny. And then they put out a Ultimate Edition Series 4 re-release. So they put back up the Brock Lesnar and Shawn Michaels up for pre-order, which is cool because I think the Shawn Michaels is pretty nice. I think the upcoming 90s Shawn Michaels is pretty cool because it's got the white kick pads. I like when they got white, but this one's nice, and the Lesnar's cool too. It's since out of date, but I think these are cool. So if you like Michaels or Lesnar, don't have those, can get those. Yep. I would love to get the Michaels, probably won't. That is it, I think.
Oh, wow.
Let me just check one more time. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, I think one thing I missed from last week was the Ultimate Edition, Unrivaled Series 12 lineup. No images yet, but it'll have Mox, FTR getting new figures, so those are re-released talent, and then you have Jamie Hayter and Private Party.
Jamie Hayter's getting a figure, eh? Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I think Private Party's cool.
All right, that's it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, this has been a lengthy episode. We're up pushing 247 right now, but if anyone's still listening at this point, thanks. We really do appreciate any time you spend listening to the two of us talk about wrestling. Love to hear any comments from anyone. Feel free to contact us, fnswrestling@gmail.com. Will come to me. FNS underscore wrestling underscore podcast on Instagram. We'll go to that guy over there.
Yeah.
Leave a YouTube comment. I promise you'll get a reply. No matter what you say to us, we will get back to you. Would love to hear from anybody. I don't think there's any bonus stuff coming out, so it looks like we'll just be back here next Saturday for another episode. It will be episode 87. So we hope to see you all back here. Tell some friends about us. Bring a few extra people to listen. We'd really appreciate it. And until then, take care.